no idea if anybody's
Um,
I'm not wearing my
so
helmet
while
though,
they're
by the way.
coming in, I already have my got my phone obviously, and then I have my iPad.
Okay, good. Yeah,
So
to watch the
I
stream.
figured if it's on um if it's on YouTube, cool. If not, I'll just watch it on the
Yeah,
website.
right. That's a good
And my
format.
my volume is already down, so
Cool.
and I'll throw on closed captioning as soon as the feed starts. Is anybody in there?
It says 4 people. Hey, if y'all can hear us, say hi in the chat. Actually, probably one of those is me on my iPad.
Right.
It's under Amy's
It's still
account.
hey, 2 people. Cool.
3, and then
Oh,
what devices are
three.
we on? Got my Vision shirt.
So do I.
Perfect. We're of the same mind as always.
Exactly. We have a hive mind.
I'm also resharing the
We're a dyad.
Let's not get carried away. No.
We're a dyad in the force.
Yeah. Um,
By the way, my
so,
Ronto wraps awesome.
oh,
So is
good.
this. So
I'm
is
glad they come
this
out good.
drink. Yeah, last time I made them, they were okay, and I didn't have any. Well, I didn't make peppercorn sauce because it's too much of a pain. So I just got spicy ranch, and I did have peppercorn, actual peppercorns. So I just added the peppercorns
Oh, cool.
to the spicy ranch.
Nice.
It worked.
I'm going to invite our couple of guests.
Yeah.
Um, this chin brace is uncooperative of my beard.
Hmm. I haven't worn mine in forever. 'Cause I'm
I
still
never, I never do. I guess I don't have a reason to usually, but
right,
I never have an excuse to. I should say.
right.
Like
But that
shouldn't need,
reminds
I
me,
shouldn't need an excuse.
I do need to mask it and then at least prime it so I can
Yeah,
start on the Resilient Squadron version.
right. Like I kind of need to plan mine out really good, and I think
So do I.
I'm
I
really
have no
hesitant
idea.
to
I
do
mean,
it too.
yeah, that's probably
I mean,
why I
it's a
haven't really done it. Yeah,
right. You have to really be
right.
confident, and you can
Yeah,
always
exactly.
paint over if you don't. But it's just getting
Yeah,
rid of
yeah,
the
but
original
that's a pain.
paint
Yeah,
scheme is like, uh,
right. And are you on the Walk of Fame website?
I haven't pulled it up yet. No,
Okay, because it says live in 85 minutes.
that would be that's about right. Yeah, that's actually
Oh,
exactly right.
okay.
Two
Oh yeah,
two
it's not
thirty
keep.
p.m. our
I keep
time.
it's not 2:30. Never mind.
Right.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We started an hour and
Remember
a half earlier.
we talked about that. It was it's at 2 o'clock, and you're like, oh crap, no, it's 2:30.
Yep.
That makes more sense.
I was also just remembering like this is all recorded too because I'm sure some people might want to maybe join later or watch it later.
Right. Hmm.
So um, we could talk smack here, but you know
All right.
people might join watch later.
Damn Trekkies.
God, I know, right?
Nerds.
Oh, so what I was going to tell you was right before I jumped on, uh,
Mhm.
got a message from Anthony Carboni.
Oh, cool.
He said that he is going to be streaming himself and doing
Yeah, I
stuff
kind of
today,
figured. Yeah.
but that but he'd share it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I assumed everybody's gonna be streaming or having some kind of
Yeah,
Star Wars event.
exactly. Yeah, we kind of knew that when we did
So
the
yeah,
last
right.
minute. But
Next
all the
year,
good, like,
if we can plan, well, if we can plan way in advance.
yeah,
Obviously, we're not
and
going to be able to get any big guests, big
yeah,
guests, because again, they'll be busy. But at least we can
well,
get like the people we know. And
you never know if we
um,
do it well enough in advance.
right, right. Well, yeah,
Well,
we
of
can
course,
talk
and
about that. Yeah.
well, the other big draw is, this is definitely like, hey, let's honor Carrie. Let's talk about mental health because it was,
Right.
a big thing for her and
Mm-hmm.
had a big impact on all of us. But also,
Mm-hmm.
like, I was thinking, like, we could probably maybe next year, whenever we do this next time, like, plan a fundraiser or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that always like goes a long way. People like to get involved in those too, and that
Right.
would also, because I think just
Right.
chatting about it
I'm
is
just
helpful
thinking.
for people in doing a lot, but also
Right.
like we could do more too.
Right.
Yeah, I pulled up the live feed on the site, and yeah, they just have an embedded YouTube video, and I clicked notify me, to watch.
On the
Um,
site or
yeah,
YouTube?
if you just go to walkoffame.com.
I am. I'm on it right now.
Okay, so do you see the embedded
Yeah.
video on the homepage?
Oh no.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah. That's just a YouTube video.
Yeah. I
In
it
fact,
looked like it was, but I wasn't sure. And
I,
again, just so I know it's here. And
yeah,
yeah, it probably is on YouTube, but it's way easier to go, oh, it's 100% is right here. I'll just stay right here
yeah, that's
rather
easy.
than trying to find it on YouTube. Or
Well,
do I have,
if you
well, so
click on the,
usually, like when I click on it, it doesn't have it doesn't have a YouTube symbol or a YouTube button. At
does
least
it have
not,
the
not on
title?
mine.
Yeah, I mean
Huh?
it's gonna be different on the iPad. Can
Yeah.
you click on the title of the
Oh,
video on it?
yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yep.
No, it
Because
works. Now I'm on.
okay,
Now I'm
cool.
on YouTube.
Yeah, it's Walk of Fame's account.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it on Walk of Fame better.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
I'll leave. I'll leave it.
I see that.
But usually, when there's something like that, it has the YouTube icon in the lower right corner. Then you
Yeah,
click on it, and then it goes to YouTube. But it doesn't have that. But yeah, the clicking on the title worked.
yeah, exactly. I do see on theirs that it doesn't start for another 80 minutes, but they've
Yep.
got like quite a few people in their live chat already chatting.
Uh, so
Well, a few
chat's
people.
not coming up for me. I got. Let's see.
Let me
Yeah,
see on
I
your
got.
iPad.
I have this. So I don't know how to get
There
rid of
might be.
those on
Um,
the side.
you can go
Unless I can,
expand it.
maybe I can
You might
swipe.
be able
I
to
don't know.
go full screen or
Well, I don't. Well, I'd rather see the chat.
no, yeah,
I'll
I know,
swipe.
but not full screen, but whatever like mode that you can do to not
Right.
get the recommended stuff. It might show you the chat, or there might be a button for it.
No.
I mean, we don't need to really see their chat, but it's just interesting to see, and that there are people
Oh,
logging
that's
on
true.
this early.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
that's too distracting. Let me go back to Walk of Fame. Oh, come on. Fame. Okay, whatever. Oh my
but
lord.
Melissa says she'll join in a bit, and but she is listening in right now as she gets ready. So hi,
I'm
Melissa.
Melissa.
I said I'm sure we're fascinating.
Don't mind us.
Melissa just annoys me so much.
That's right.
Melissa just annoys me so much. All her
I know.
interesting posts and
God,
fascinating podcasts.
I know. And interviewing us.
I know, right? Wrote a whole article about us. It was just like
I know.
kind of attention, pressure. Jeez.
I can't take it. We love
It's
you.
it's it's all been downhill since the Insider article. To be honest. Yeah, we probably talk about some, but yeah, we've been, for anybody following or listening in later, it's like we've been a kind of a hiatus for a while. We've been semi-active in terms of just posting stuff and chatting and following things and being involved, but you know, took a little break from the podcast unintentionally. We always want to put more out, but it's been at least a year since our last episode, just because of life, disability, working, everything else. But we have not ever at any point just dropped everything. We're still active, and we're starting to ramp back up into planning out our podcast episodes and talking to people to come on, figuring out topics and things like that. So we have plans for sure.
Hey, Greg, are you talking to her? Because I can't hear anything. Or is it a chat or something?
I'm talking to the audience in general.
Oh, okay. I
For any,
thought I wasn't sure.
yeah,
I thought maybe you were talking to Melissa. That's why I was curious.
well, that's a
Gotcha.
great point.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm just talking to the audience and
Yeah.
anybody who might be listening later on, the recording, whatever. It's also really tough to do something like this on May the 4th while also trying to follow and jump on all of the deals and see what's
Exactly.
going on. It's rough. It's hard work.
Although, like I said, I really didn't find the only thing I really found that I was interested in at all was a Lego in one,
Yeah.
and but it's like pay $50 for that because after tax is 50, or for 28 get the IG-12 files,
Oh yeah. Right.
which would be a lot more fun to build and paint and all that. So and spend half the money. So I did that
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I just need to go buy about 50 rolls of filament.
Yeah. Right. I was fascinated that guy got his print his IG-12 3D printed already, and
Mm,
somebody was like, "How'd you do that so fast?" He goes, "I have like 40 printers, I think he said, or
right,
was it 14 or 40? It was something ridiculous."
right. I said Roy has three.
Yeah.
Of course, I just have one. But yeah, I've seen there's a lot of 3D printing groups I follow, and some people have entire rooms
Yeah.
of
Right.
printers. Must be nice to have that kind of money.
I know, right? I just want one.
Yeah,
I'm working on it.
yeah.
So did you see? I probably sent you earlier, but they added Luke Starkiller, like the concept art figure, to Lego Star Wars.
No, last thing I saw that you sent me were the keychains.
Yeah, they added Starkiller, like
Oh,
that
nice.
kind of blue design with the mask.
Hmm.
I didn't think they were updating Lego anymore. I didn't. I didn't have any
Well,
reason not to think that, but
a lot of sales didn't go live until 12 or 1.
yeah,
Like in Hasbro didn't go. Everything they previewed yesterday didn't go live until about 15 minutes ago.
right. I saw on yeah, and apparently I just saw that the micro galaxy shuttle on
Mhm.
Amazon sold out in about 25 minutes. So I'm glad I got my AT-AT first thing this morning
Right,
when it went on sale. It went on live early.
right.
But I do know that I'm not sure about the AT-AT. I'm not clear about if that's exclusive or not. But the shuttle I know is a common that's going to be around. So not I'm not I don't know if I'm even getting that, but just for people who
Hmm.
are, I don't think they've missed out on it if they didn't get it. But even so, I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm so paranoid about trying to get stuff that I really have to have because,
Mhm.
and for anyone following, I am a obsessive Hoth collector. So um, I had to have the micro, and I love the micro stuff. So I had to have the
And
AT-AT.
I'll be right back. I just realized my iPad is only at 58%, which is
Oh
still
yeah,
probably
yeah,
fine. But I'm going to grab my TV remote. So if it dies, I can switch to my TV.
good plan. You gonna just run over there real quick?
Yeah. Yep. My phone's at 65. I think my phone will be all right, but we'll see.
Yeah, right.
I've been, I had to, today I had to charge my iPad, my phone, and my earbuds all at once. So
Yeah,
I didn't have a lot of time to charge them. And I only have one cable for a USB
yeah.
C.
I need to keep an eye
And
on
actually,
my
yeah.
earbuds. I did not get a chance to test a alternative to my earbuds. Carrie is Carrie, are you there?
Yep.
I just realized you wasn't sure if you could hear me.
I'm getting situated, but yeah.
Okay. Uh, I just saw that Carrie Fisher is trending on Twitter.
Hmm.
I actually just remembered I was going to go grab some coffee. Didn't have time, but I'll go get some in a little bit, or wait till my wife gets home and very, very nicely ask her if she could do it for me. Oh, this is really cool. I know, like I'm just here, just running commentary now. Um, David Peterson, who does Mouse Guard, he did some Star
Hmm.
Wars versions. I don't know if it's new, but
That'd be cool.
Star Wars. He did Star Wars versions of Mouse Guard characters.
Hmm.
Here's Melissa.
Hello?
Hello,
Hey,
welcome.
I can't hear you guys. Let me figure this out.
Here.
Ah, I know why. Okay, speaker. There we go.
Can you hear
cool.
us?
Hey,
Hey, I can hear you now.
sweet.
It's good to see you
Well,
guys.
yeah,
You too.
good to see you. Good to talk to you. I don't think we've actually talked yet.
No,
No, that's probably true.
corresponded. Yeah,
Yeah, we've corresponded quite a bit
Yeah,
on the
yeah. No,
virtual interview
that's
thing.
that's true. Yeah, because we didn't meet up at Celebration or anything like that at
right.
any point. So
No, we
I
haven't been able to get to anything yet.
Yeah. No, it's weird because I feel like so many of my Star Wars connections are online only, or emails, following people on Twitter and those sorts of things.
Right.
But I've lost track of the fact that we've never met in person. Well, hello again virtually.
Hello.
Yeah. We're hoping maybe 26 or 27. If it's back in the States, we'll be able to go.
Yeah, that was
That way
definitely
we can
the
meet people.
Yeah. That was definitely the rumors at Celebration this year in London was the 50th anniversary, 50th anniversary. Let me think about it. Yeah, 50th anniversary in 2027. They've got to do that back in the States, right? Like
that makes sense.
Right.
So,
and like I was telling Greg, depending on when they have it in the year, we'll both technically be 50 years old. So it'll be kind of cool. Have a nice little present for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you based in California? I forget now.
I'm in Pittsburgh.
Are you hoping for Florida? Pittsburgh, okay.
And I'm in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach. Okay, I'm in California. Yeah, so I'm of course hoping for Anaheim again. But if I had to go to Disney World in Orlando, that wouldn't be so bad.
We're hoping for something eastern side of the country.
Fair enough.
But we'll see.
Fair enough.
Well, in 2019, I came into some money, so for Greg's birthday present, we were either going to go to Celebration in Anaheim or go to Galaxy's Edge. But by the time I got my money, they had already announced the date and the place. So, of course, all the tickets are sold out. All the hotels are booked. So, we're going to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Which was worth it.
Which was really fun.
We'll make it to Celebration at some point.
Yeah.
Well, and really, we talked about the fact that this kind of the delay of it not, I wish it was coming here sooner, but also, glad that other areas of the world get theirs too. But it does kind of give us more time to get ready for it and to get plan for it and do more when we go.
Yeah, I agree. So Anaheim Celebration in what was supposed to be 2020, but ended up being 2022 is my first celebration. And I'm definitely hooked now because I'd only ever been to Comic-Cons where it's every fandom. And, there's something to be said for that too. But going to just Star Wars convention was really, really amazing. So,
I probably went to on that level.
Yeah.
Because there's one big one in Pittsburgh, but obviously it doesn't even compare to San Diego or Celebration or any of the huge ones.
Right. Yeah, since I'm based in San Diego, that was basically my first convention, the San Diego Comic-Con. So I know that all of my stuff is a little skewed because that is very big once you start learning about more. So. But hopefully.
Yeah, I'm actually going to my first con later this month here in this area.
Nice.
Taking my daughter, who's losing her mind about
it. Excellent. It's a general fandom one.
Yeah, it's a general everything. Nice. Yeah, we were talking about the fact that I guess there aren't any Star Wars specific cons other than Celebration. It seems like. Does that sound right to you?
I think so. There's more and more of these sort of little events. In February here in Southern California, the Bureau of Land Management put on an event at the filming site that's out in the Imperial Dunes where they filmed part of Return of the Jedi. And then James Floyd, who's my podcast co-host, just told me about one that's happening up in the Redwood area in Northern California. So on some of the land where they shot the Endor scenes. So I feel like some of these, and they just end up being weekends or day events of, hey, if you're a Star Wars fan, come see this filming location, do some associated activities. And I sort of like those smaller things. I had no idea because the desert one it's literally in the middle of no place most of the way to Arizona, but there were a lot of people there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that.
Tunisia 2027.
Yeah, there you go.
You got the right idea.
Well, yeah, and the London Celebration I wasn't planning to go to. and then I ended up having to be in Spain for a job, and I was like, well, that's most of the way to London, so I'm gonna go. But yeah, not really as accessible for us West Coasters. Definitely a bigger commitment and all that kind of stuff. But like you said, I really am glad for like the fans who don't live in the United States, who don't want to travel here every time. So
right.
And it being so close to Pinewood Studios was actually really amazing, because thankfully they got a bunch of those behind the scenes people to come to Celebration and share their stories and stuff like that.
Nice.
So that I think was really like
That's cool.
Invaluable, because I don't think they're going to travel to other cons. So
no.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I hope they keep London in the rotation, because that was really a special part of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
That must be cool too if they got the London Symphony Orchestra to come out and play some music.
Yeah, I think I missed that. Was that on the first day or something?
Oh, they were there?
Now I don't remember. I wasn't there on Friday, and I know at least for like the Lucasfilm showcase panel last year in Anaheim, they had like a whole symphony and John Williams conducted it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't really be surprised to find out they did the same thing in London. I don't actually know though. So, but yeah, that was pretty cool. So
just because their orchestra, since they originally did the trilogy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. If they didn't do that, that's a huge missed opportunity, because people would like go to that show or go to that, even if it was like a panel, to just hear about like, oh yeah. You know.
Especially how much they were tapping into the fact that it was so much of it was done there. Would have been a good one to take advantage of.
Yeah, most of the stuff I saw was about like the sequel trilogy, and I mean Andor, you know, since that's like new and fresh, and so many people loved that. There was a lot of stuff about that. So.
Yeah, when was it, Greg, that you came up and they had the Star Wars concert?
I think it was 2015. No, it was
wow, that early? Wow. But anyway, I guess they had a traveling Star Wars concert, and of course it wasn't John Williams, but Anthony Daniels was there, and he was hosting it, and I won tickets to the event, and then Greg came up and we went to the event. So it was pretty cool. We got to hear music. Wasn't John Williams, but still pretty cool.
It was incredibly well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he composed it, even if he's not conducting.
Yeah.
Right.
I did see Howard Shore, and Howard Shore was pretty cool.
I came up. I was there for that too.
Yeah. Yep.
That was my wife and I came up there to see Jack and go see actually Howard Shore do Lord of the Rings. That was
I should see if John Williams is still doing it, because I know that he would do like a show at the Hollywood Bowl every year, and that's like not that many hours of a drive from my house to get to go see. I should really do that, but I think he might have stopped that. But yeah.
Oh, I just realized I need to send another link.
That was definitely on my bucket list to see him perform.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like we have to sort of start the conversation about Carrie Fisher's Walk of Fame star by being like, how did she not already have one?
Right, exactly.
So have you seen the official statement they had about that?
I don't think so.
They said people have to. They said they don't do it on their own. People have to nominate and submit all the process or paperwork or whatever it is that is involved, and nobody had done it. I guess is what they're saying.
Wow.
And that, I guess, maybe look for any of the people that you think deserve it and get them submitted. Cause,
that's a good way.
They were like, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
You would think they could have, gotten it going at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know much about the process of getting a star on the Walk of Fame. It's true. I did sort of assume there was like a committee, and once you had done enough things or something like that. But a popularity contest, I guess, is not that surprising either.
No.
So.
Well, I got a discussion with somebody the other day with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I guess I forget who got nominated this year, but they were like, I don't think anybody can refuse, but I remember Dolly Parton refused. Was the last year, but then she finally relinquished and said, "Yeah, I'll accept it."
Interesting.
What's that?
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think it was last year, she was nominated, and she was like, no, thank you. But they said, no, you can't refuse. Which is kind of dumb.
Like, we're putting you in there anyway. You might as well come do a concert.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, I'm sending a invite to Maria.
Cool.
She said she might jump on at some point. If she's able.
So I got to go to Disney Studios the other day up in Burbank. There was a Collider, which is like a pop culture website, had like a screening of some Andor episodes, like the prison arc episodes. And they had Andy Serkis on hand to like do a Q&A afterwards.
Oh, yeah,
and stuff
I saw
like that.
Nice.
And I, found out about it early enough thanks to James and got passes for it. But there was a guy in the audience who was like dressed in one of the Narkina 5, prisoner outfits. So definitely super into it, who had said that he was part of the company that actually fabricated the Walk of Fame star for Carrie Fisher.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And he was like showing off pictures of it and talking about how they mixed like Coca-Cola into the cement, because like that was something she was known for, was like always drinking dozens of Coca-Colas every day and stuff like that. So it's not just any, I sort of liked that it was this huge fan who got to, weld the letters onto the star and stuff like that, because, I just figured it was some random company, might spell names wrong and those sorts of things. But the fact that there's like something more to it was pretty cool. So
that is cool.
Well, it's kind of like when they did Luke at the end of Mando, and then there was that fan that did his own deep fake, and it was even better. Yeah. And Lucasfilm was like, "You want to come work for us?" And now he works for them. And I believe he did all the deep fake for season 3 or whatever.
I know he was involved in it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's kind of cool.
Uptick in quality.
And I met Lee Towersy at Celebration. He was on a panel that I did, and he was like I think the head of the UK R2 Builders Club, and basically just like drove his R2D2 up to Kathleen Kennedy at, Celebration 2013 or something like that, and was like, hey, if you need R2s for the new, sequels, let us know. And that's how he got his job, enough. Basically working there making their droids. So
nice.
You just got
right now I'm currently building B556.
Oh yeah.
I just got the files for IG-12.
Okay.
And then I'm doing a whole bunch of other ones.
B5 from Ronan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say I have to look that up. Oh, nice. Yes. Okay. Right.
Straw hat.
Yes. So is your IG-12 gonna have room for your Grogu? Like it has like the little. It's amazing.
Yeah. I got it from the Droid Division Builders Club, and the guy that actually sculpted it or rendered it, whatever. He made sure it fits all Grogu's.
Nice.
And also it has enough room inside to house the yes and no buttons.
Oh, of course. You gotta have the yes and no buttons.
And I already found 2, so.
Oh, that's great. That's gonna be fun.
And I'm just gonna do 2 things. I'm just gonna do a bust so I can take it to cons as just a display piece at my table. But since I'm a double amputee, I'm going to take the legs. I'm going to make prosthetics.
Oh, yes. That's amazing. Oh, I can't wait to see that.
I was gonna joke a minute ago that you said that he rolled R2 right up to Kathleen Kennedy and said, if you need a droid. I figured Jack will do the same thing and roll right up to her and say, like, if you need a double amputee.
Beep, 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 beep.
Well, yeah,
you could fit in a droid.
Right.
Yeah. No, all the beeping and stuff like that is put in later, so you don't even have to have like language down or anything.
Right. Yep.
Just have a yes no button with you. I think.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So I just finished listening to one of Carrie Fisher's books this morning, The Princess Diarist,
Cool.
where she does her own audiobooks, and I highly recommend that to everyone.
I got Princess Diarist. I think I've got it on Audible with one of my credits. I got it a little while back. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's on my queue.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I highly recommend it because she, it's part her writing at the time, and I think she finished it like just before passing away. Like the Emmy she got for the audiobook was
her
posthumous.
One,
yeah. But it was also, she shared like actual diary entries from when she was 19 on the set of A New Hope. And,
oh
wow. Obviously they're slightly more eloquent than any diary I wrote as a teenager or anything like that. But there's a lot of that similar drama and stuff like that.
She was having some interesting relationships at the time too.
Yes.
Right. And being in Hollywood, you have to grow up real fast.
Right.
Definitely have to grow up fast.
That's true. So.
Yeah, because you see the one interview, I guess they were doing a junket in France, and she just in there speaking French with the interviewer, like perfectly, like fluent French.
Yeah.
Like damn.
Yeah, it does say in there that she knew 4 languages or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. So
she's probably only 19 or 20, and like I mean, I know French, but she was completely fluent.
Yeah,
that's
pretty cool.
I was just trying to think, how many languages does Natalie Portman speak? I think she spoke a bunch of languages or something like that.
Oh, is that right? Well, like mother, like daughter. That's how you learn it.
Yeah, exactly. Droid, binary. No.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting to me going back in the movies now that I'm an overthinker about Star Wars and noticing who does and who doesn't speak binary or understand binary.
Right.
It's like it had never occurred to me that at least I think in the first 2 movies, Luke doesn't know what R2-D2 is saying unless he's like in the ship. And then at some point he learns it. And yeah, like there are some people like Rey who seem to know every language, and then lots of people who don't. And I find that really, it seems like it says something about the characters, and I shouldn't judge them too much because I don't know other languages. Like I can speak and understand Spanish a little bit since I live a couple miles from the border, but it's interesting, and I really had never noticed it somehow before a couple of years ago.
I grew up around Europe as a military army brat, and I learned many classes of various languages, and I've retained 0 of it. I was always completely inept with language. I actually think it's part of my neurodivergence that I just cannot process languages. I can't even handle accents, really.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, half the time I don't even know what Jack is saying.
Right.
Just not politely,
Yeah, exactly. It's weird too, because I can't hear French, but I can read it and write it and speak it.
Yeah, I can read a lot more for sure.
It's just too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to know where the word breaks are and those sorts of context and stuff like that. If people are speaking another language, I'm pretty lost, unfortunately. So.
Yep.
I know Utini for Java.
Nice.
Do you know what Utini means, though?
Do I want to know?
Why not?
No, I don't know.
It's not safe. Not safe for stream.
Okay. Never mind. Other.
Gonna have to look that up though.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping this on for much longer, but I'm having fun wearing my helmet. Like I was telling Jack, I don't have an excuse usually, but also, do I need an excuse?
No, just Tuesdays, whatever days of the end and why.
I was thinking earlier, I actually kind of took off my I do consulting and kind of took the afternoon off, so I could for doing this obviously. But I was like, if I had any client meetings, with a group, I would probably wear this and jump on today.
It's May the 4th. You know, they should just
why not? You know, they're gonna get it. You know?
Honestly, it looks enough like one of those like Zoom filter editions that I'm surprised it's not. Like all it does has to do is track your eyes and just sort of move with you.
Yeah. I had the virtual backdrop when we were trying this out last night, and that's even more fitting for the setting, but with the helmet. But I'm not happy with it with this software. It's not as good as Zoom. Zoom is really great at cropping you out, but this one I was just very blurry, shaky around the edges, and so I of course have my whole Star Wars room going here, but I'm redoing my shelf here and stuff, so it's all boxes. So I figured I'd prefer not to just be showing boxes and the mess behind me.
Yeah, my background is mostly Star Wars stuff too, it turns out. It's sort of taken over my life.
Completely shocked.
I did make sure to get down my like Carrie Fisher
you know,
saint photo that I got at Comic-Con.
I love that one. Yeah, that's a great one. Nice. I didn't think to get any of my layouts around.
That one's usually hanging in the dining room, but I was like, no, that should be in the background today. So what an angel. What a saint.
I actually have sadly a lot of I've been basically working on my office is like a long-term ongoing thing, but I've got a bunch of the stuff in front of me is shelves of stuff. So it's for my benefit, I guess, but I've been working on the behind here, but this is what people see so, when I'm on camera at least. So I'll get to that eventually. But yeah, I've got, of course, you know, so much stuff in like boxes and containers that I got to get out and sort through. But I was just thinking I actually do have a box of Carrie stuff because I had a theme that I'm collecting.
Nice.
So
did you guys hear anything from Celebration in terms of like accessibility, you know, report card kind of stuff? Because I'm always curious how the conventions are doing since talking to you all about, you know, the benefits of virtual and stuff like that.
Everything that I've seen, at least Jack can share what he's heard. There's like the very vocal minority of people who experience legitimate issues, for sure. But the vast number of people I've seen in the accessibility for Celebration had talked about really positive experience. They said it went really well for them. I know that the crowd size and being packed in was a big factor for a lot of people. But
that's going to be any large event
for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's not.
I saw people in
Celebration specific.
Right. I did see people commenting that it was compared to other celebrations. They felt it was more packed in the size of space. But
yeah, apparently they didn't even like check badges or anything like that the first day or two. So.
Yeah.
Oh man, good. See, we could have gone in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just walking over.
We could have crashed Celebration.
if it was near here, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, I think getting in there was like the least of our challenges.
Right.
But yeah, you know, and I wouldn't say we're kind of biased, I guess. You know, we know and have talked to and interviewed the guy, Austin Whitney, who coordinated accessibility for this one as well. And I know in this case he did, I think, work with some local consultancies or someone for adapting their to the specifics of England, you know, Britain, and their particular differences. I mean, there was a lot of mixed information going into it because there were a lot of reports that in order to get an accommodation badge or care pass or anything like that, that you would actually have to have proof of your disability, like paperwork and stuff. I think that turned out not to be the case. That, of course, is illegal in the United States. In the United States.
Oh, yeah. Right.
In England, supposedly they can require it.
Right.
But most people said that, and I think he even came out, Austin, clarified ahead of time. He said, no, that's not going to be required, even though they said it somewhere on the website. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I
Right,
think
yeah,
some
because
people
the
did
American
provide that to get
Disabilities
it.
Act is
Yeah,
only applies
no.
here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's interesting, nuance too. And it's actually something we're going to probably be following for Japan in
Right.
in the groups that we're in with Deb Bonini and Terry Roberts, who was on our podcast. In that Facebook group, they're already collecting information about Japan and about conventions there and some of the different, again, like another place where the rules are different and the requirements are different. And those are good things for people to know about going into it.
Yeah, that was
But
going to
from
be
what
my
we
next
heard,
question. Yeah,
a lot of people were posting a lot of thanks to Austin because they know he's in the group and posting pictures with him because he was there. Austin's a huge Star Wars fan himself, so he's really interested in making these things work really well, and he's really good at it.
yeah.
Because they handle they handle like Coachella, they handle all the
Oh
big
wow.
conventions, and
Yeah,
so they're used to big crowds, big audiences, and large events, and they do a good job of it. So yeah, it sounds like it's going really. It's the last few have gone well. It seems like. I think if I recall right, everybody said I think Chicago was the not very good one, or maybe no, it was Orlando before that, and then Chicago got better, and then it's kind of like getting better and better each time. It sounds like.
yeah. Because I was definitely curious about that as for Japan. Obviously there's just
Yeah.
the getting there and all that kind of stuff. I've visited as a tourist a couple of times, and I'm mobile and all this, but it's small, right? Like everything in Japan is just sort of small and narrow. Like my husband is 6 feet tall and hits his head on most doorways. Like the bathrooms are all like the hotel rooms are like just tiny. There's a bed in there and a foot of space, and that's about it. And the bathrooms are all like you step up into them. And I'm just thinking about these things for people who have to. That's going to be a game changer and means they can't go. So there must be other options, but I'm really curious. But it's so yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm glad that that's already a conversation that's happening, even like 2 years
It
ago.
is. In the one celebration group on Facebook, there are also already people talking about Japan, and there's one guy from Japan, and I know I personally asked him, and a couple of other people asked him, like, what's accessibility like in Japan? Like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not. I mean, there aren't too many issues.
That's good. Yeah, I saw a lot of people like sort of freaking out. And the first time I went to Japan, it was like on late notice. I had to go for work, and I was nervous about it because it seems like really foreign. The words are different. The language is not something like cognates that I'm used to. Traveling in Europe or something like that. But honestly, I found it to be like the most efficiently, intuitively sort of laid out country, at least being in and around Tokyo, that actually found it easier to travel than many other places. So I hope that people don't let their concerns about it keep them from going if they want to go or if they can't afford to go, because that's no small thing.
So. Yeah, because it seems like that is a thing that strikes me as far as like just being a bit more what was the word I was about to use? Just a lot of strong cultural differences. Like I was in Europe, and so I'm familiar with a lot of stuff there. But I feel like the language and things like that it's more daunting to me. That was the word I was looking for. To me, to think of going there, but I'm sure from everything I know and have heard is like it's very ironically accommodating for just even in terms of language and tourists and stuff.
Yeah. No, I had less trouble there navigating the like metro system and stuff than I did in London for sure. Like everything's really intuitive and stuff like that. So here's hoping So I'm really curious to see though what the celebration there is like. You know, I asked James when we were talking about going and, you know, hosting panels there. It's like, well, are panels in English? You know, or will some of them, many of them, be in Japanese? I hope that there are some panels that are in Japanese because that makes sense. We're in Japan. But at the same time, I wouldn't know what they were saying. So I'm assuming most of them are going to be in English, but it's a really different thing. And I'm excited to sort of see Star Wars get global like that.
It's fascinating to think. I mean, we deal with accessibility stuff a lot just in our lives, especially Jack, me to an extent, and partly me just being aware of it through Jack and others. But after a while, you start looking at everything through a lens of accessibility, because that language barrier itself is an accessibility thing. It's an accommodation. It's like, so you start thinking about, okay, if it is in Japanese, is there going to be translation? You know, and then is there going to be sign language interpretation, and what's that going to be? Because for example, in London, you know, London in England, they have BSL, British Sign Language, versus American Sign Language, and it's different. It's a different language.
Right.
And my understanding, I think they had, I could be wrong, I think they had both.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
If I recall.
Yeah, because there's more fans, you know, when it's in your country or whatever, there's going to be more people there. It's like, even if the panels in Japan are in English, are there going to be translations for the people who are from Japan? You know?
Right.
So yeah, I'm really interested to see how all that gets handled. And you know, I'm sort of glad that, I mean, obviously it's more convenient if it's in the States for many of us, but I'm intrigued to see what accommodations are made and how it all works out. So
Yep. Yeah, a lot of questions. I know that, and they had one in Japan when, like, in the 2000s, I think.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they did in those cases. You know, I might just lose this chin strap. I mentioned, I told Jack I was like having trouble with the chin strap because it's just bothering it's just not compatible with my beard is the problem.
Now, are you wearing it aesthetically, or is it actually holding the helmet to your head?
No. In fact, I could probably pop it off now that.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, if it's gonna stay on your head, you might as well just take it off.
Right.
That way, it's not a nuisance.
Yeah, if you're not flying a B-wing or whatever, you don't need to have it strapped to your head.
It does complete the aesthetic.
Greg, don't turn around with a TIE fighter right behind you.
That's funny.
What was funny, I keep thinking this is my mic, because I'd be careful with it.
Right.
And then no, I have the podcast mic over here.
That's funny.
It'd be great to wire this up though, and walk around with it.
You probably could.
I'm sure.
I don't think it'd be that hard.
This thing is just buttons. Oh, that's better. We'll do this for a little while more. We've got to go with our theme. Yeah, we mentioned this is our first live stream. We're very much figuring things out as we go. And first time using this software, using this setup. Work out a few logistical
Gotta
things
start
last
somewhere.
night.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Walk of Fame thing. Did you say they were already like parts of the live stream happening? I haven't even clicked over there.
Yeah, if you go to Walk of...
Last I looked, it wasn't going on.
Okay.
Walkoffame.com has it, and they've got just a embedded YouTube video. And you can click through. It's on also Walk of Fame's. Actually, this reminds me. Yeah, it's on Walk of Fame's YouTube channel. And there are 257 people waiting for it to start.
All right. I will definitely have to go next time I'm up in LA. I will have to go to the Star. I considered trying to go today, and I was like, I want no part of that.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. So, but next time I'm up there, I will definitely have to go and look at it.
I feel like, I mean, Mark got his a while back. I feel like just it's probably in my Star Wars bubble, but like I told Jack, I saw Carrie Fisher was trending on Twitter earlier, and it's like, we're seeing a lot more news stories about it, and people cut in like coverage of it.
Yeah.
Because I think people are just average people are seeing it's a pretty big deal. Like,
yeah.
And like you said, surprised she doesn't have one yet.
Exactly. No, when I went to look into it, it was like apparently people decorated one of the blank stars because they have like blank stars out on the walk too. when she passed away, that they had decorated one. So like, yeah, it does seem surprising to me that she's just now getting it. And unfortunately, some of the news stories I heard this week were who was and wasn't invited to the ceremony.
Yeah, we saw that last night. We're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly part of the mental health discussion is
right.
Cutting out toxic family members if you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I tweeted about that on our account, and it's like, we don't know all the details, but we have a lot of faith in Billy and respect for her that and just kind of saw what some of the family are doing in general. But
right,
and something like that is not surprising either.
Sure.
Yeah. I agree. It's a big thing. Who you allow into your life and who you keep in your life. And
right, exactly. I definitely have only one or two. I feel relatively lucky, but there are some filters on my Gmail account for people who aren't allowed to email me anymore. It's a short list of people who are actually blocked on Facebook and things like that. But it's nice that technology at least has those options and those filters. And that those people aren't putting out press releases about how they've been blocked and stuff like that. So it's really funny.
Everything's different when you're in the spotlight. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, but yeah, like not knowing all the details or whatever. Also, everyone grieves really differently, So
yeah,
And
I was just thinking about that. It's like just the whole grieving in public thing has to be just so traumatizing.
Yeah,
and I'm sure. I mean, there was. I have no doubt there's, and not even a silver lining thing, but I'm sure it's been like such a huge outpouring of love and all that kind of stuff too in public. I'm sure that also helped some, but
but it could also go
makes
the other way.
Where
you're like, you didn't know her.
Makes it stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel for that family that Carrie Fisher's siblings and her daughter and stuff like that, that there's not, more of an understanding or more grace or anything like that for everybody. So hopefully that story doesn't overshadow things too much. Hopefully nobody crashes or anything like that.
Right.
So
we were wondering if Gary is going to be there.
Yeah.
Do you know who has Gary? Do we know? Greg and I were trying to figure that out.
Her obituary said that Billy was going to take over Gary, but I don't remember. Cool. Like, does Gary still tweet?
Well, he posted today on Instagram.
Oh, did he? Okay.
My understanding is he's with some other family. Like he was handed on to some other family to take care of him, and I think they've been kind of handling his social media, etc.
Right.
I don't think he's getting old, so
right. That was the other question.
They haven't been posting as many pictures of him and stuff, but yeah, I saw the Instagram post about it today because it commented on all the appreciation his mom's getting.
Yeah. Today. No, look at that sweet old pup. I don't know how I don't already follow Gary Fisher on Instagram, but now I do.
How?
So. Yeah, Gary would be the one to walk the red carpet for sure at this event. I'll have to see if I can find a picture. The concept artist, Jake Lunt Davis, who I've met with a couple of times, said there's like in the cantina scene, there was an alien that he designed that was based on Gary, basically.
Oh, nice.
So I'll have to see if I can find that picture because I definitely remember, thinking about pets in Star Wars, and he immediately thought of Gary Fisher. So
nice.
Lives on in Canto Bite. So.
Yep.
Half an hour.
I'm sharing around a bit. Yeah, actually, it's right on half an hour, so I'll post hover around a bit really quick. We could probably talk a bit more about stuff before they get started. Yeah, we always planned on this being very informal, and we didn't really have a plan of stuff. We just figured we'd hang out and talk and see what we get into and watch this thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it was on my calendar anyway. So when I saw you guys post about it, I was like, oh, that'd be fun. But feel free to, if anyone else needs to jump in or whatever, I don't need to be on screen the whole time or anything like that. I was definitely gonna watch it anyway, and I'm glad that I caught up on Carrie's most recent memoir. That was really interesting. It touches mostly on just filming the first Star Wars movie. A decent amount of it is talking about her affair with Harrison Ford, which who can blame her?
Yeah.
But it was also, there's also just those little tidbits of mental health, and she definitely she even mentions it, and it's something that a term that I use a lot too, is better out than in, kind of person. So she says it like vomit, like feelings and emotions and those sorts of things are better out than in. So I like that.
Yep.
What did you call it when we were messaging the other day? You said something that was like, "Oh, that's perfect."
Radical.
Radical openness.
Yeah.
And I like that. That somehow sounds more badass than like an oversharing or TMI or those sorts of things. So.
That's definitely
hostile negotiations.
Yeah. No, because I went to like a money seminar recently, and it was like how little people talk about how much money they make, or whether or not their parents gave them money for a down payment, or those sorts of things. It's like, who are we helping here, by not talking about this? Like, what are we really guarding, And so it's true when it comes to those sorts of things. It's true when it comes to, hopes, fears, dreams, etc. But it's somehow very hard to remember.
Yep. Yeah, I think I kind of reached a point where, like, the only concern I had with sharing both mental health details and especially my chronic illness stuff was my work, and especially as I transitioned from, kind of forced to transition from full-time work into consulting, to make sure that I had concerns about perceptions and but at some point I just went all in on it and decided if anyone has a problem with it, I don't really want to work with them.
Exactly.
And I would say I was in a privileged position as a consultant, but I wasn't really, because I actually really, really needed the work.
Right.
And it's going a lot better now. It's been a few years, so things have stabilized quite a bit. But it was interesting to see at least a couple of client meetings I would go into. Right off the bat, they'd be like, "Oh, I was reading your blog." I'm like, "Oh no!" But they're like, "I was really fascinated by your story. And I'm like, it was so great that you're open in sharing that kind of stuff." I'm like, "Cool." And I'd love to see more of that kind of reception to that kind of stuff. To see, like, especially people who struggle, cognitively, mentally, just to see that, okay, like, I struggle mentally with things, and balancing workload. I do programming, all that kind of stuff is challenging for me at times, and it comes and goes. But also I way overcompensate for it by, like, radical organization and techniques and software and everything else that I use to keep myself organized and communicate constantly with clients and stuff. So it actually makes it, in a way, I feel like in a way it kind of makes me better at what I do, even though I struggle with it the whole time. But it also burns me out and stresses me out too. But that's for me to worry about, not my clients.
But also too, like, being open about your struggles too helps other people. Like, I mean, especially when you're a celebrity
100%.
and you say, "Hey, I have ADHD or whatever," then somebody goes, "Oh wow, I'm not alone."
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, I'm a huge wrestling fan. And I know some of the people in wrestling, they fought with eating disorders. And so a lot of the fans were able to connect with them because, they went through an eating disorder. So it's definitely good to know, hey, we're all struggling. We are going through the same type of things. So let's talk about it, help each other.
This is all coming back to why Carrie is so important. And
Mm-hmm.
people like her, she's probably the most prominent among Star Wars people, but we've seen a lot of other people talk about their mental health and anxiety and other things,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to all the other health issues. But that she was the one who was sort of the forefront of being open and talking about and writing a book and writing books and talking about
Mm-hmm.
interviews, and it really does impact people. It really means a lot. More than
And
a lot of people.
normalizing it,
Yeah.
definitely normalizing it is a huge, huge thing.
Yeah. No, I hadn't heard the wrestler thing before,
Yeah.
the connection. That's really,
Yeah.
that's so important to have, those connections and realize that people who you look up to are having some of the same struggles, and that's really encouraging. So benefit to, the fandom and the chat rooms and those sorts of things, it's like, it doesn't all have to be toxic. And that really comes, there's a lot of that in Star Wars where I feel like, whether it's deserved or not, because clearly the fandom, quote unquote, runs a lot of people out of Star Wars. But at the same time, there's so many people I've connected to via Star Wars about so many things. And, Carrie Fisher sort of leading the way with those conversations about struggles and those sorts of things is very important. And I'm sure she got that constantly at events, people being like, thank you for talking about this. It's the reason I can talk about it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Well, this kind of, I mean, it's not Star Wars, but I know, Greg, you saw it when Billie Eilish was being interviewed by Dave Letterman. And she had a Tourette's tick during the interview, and like he handled it so beautifully, absolutely. I mean, and he just sat there and they talked about it and treated it like, oh, it's a tick, whatever, not a big deal. And he was like, if you want to talk about it, cool. If you don't want to talk about it, whatever. But I mean,
like, is
he was
okay to bring up?
still a little key about it, and very, very, very polite, very respectful, and it was
that's good. I'll have to go look for that on YouTube or something. I hadn't heard about that one.
Yeah, it's a good clip. And she's got such a great audience.
Because he was more so worried. He thought something was wrong.
Yeah, he was like, did we do this something with
he's not
or something?
He's not like, oh, what was that? That's weird. He was like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah, no, taking people's leads on those sorts of things is sort of what makes sense. And as I sort of train and practice being, moderator on panels and a host and stuff like that, I actually feel like, a little bit of improv skills or that sort of quick reaction. But so much of it is just based on who you're talking to. You have to.
Right.
Like, I have a strong personality, but really when I'm having a conversation with somebody and I'm like the host or the moderator, they're setting the vibe, they're setting the pace. There's, if something's a big deal to them, those sorts of things. So that's really good. Cause that's not, everything I've heard about David Letterman is not that positive.
Exactly. That's what everybody was talking about. After that interview, everybody was like, oh, that's really cool because of his history. So now everybody's like, well, maybe he's grown and hopefully he's learned, and now he's becoming a better person, and now he's treating people better.
Right. Yeah.
That was a huge topic about
or at
that.
least in this
right.
That scenario. Maybe there's
right.
Other
Nobody's saying no, he's a hero and he's a wonderful person yet. But they said, hey, kudos to you, because I mean, that was a really cool thing, and hopefully you'll keep it up.
Right.
Yeah.
For anybody who does join us, which I don't even think there's anybody else watching, at least on here, but I was able to update the description to add the link to the live stream.
Okay, good.
I was having trouble getting it to add a link before. It's weird.
Okay.
People add links in YouTube all the time.
Oh yeah, no, but it's weird, and I feel like it changed somehow recently. And we have that problem with when we're posting YouTube too. I feel like I have to learn every time. But yeah, I mean, even if it's not like don't have hundreds of thousands of people watching along with us, you can always put some clips together and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. We were thinking about this being a great source of clips that we can reuse for either our podcast or here on YouTube or other social media. And we really appreciate you joining because we love having somebody else to talk to also. But we were going into this, I mean, we thought of it like I think over the weekend or late last week, and we're like, what can we do on the 4th? And I think I suggested a live stream. And we realized like the Carrie thing was happening, very relevant to us.
Right.
But this has been very much like, we haven't done a live stream before, but we've talked about doing it and getting into it more. But we're like, let's just do this and throw it together and see who shows up. And if it's just the two of us hanging out and talking and watching the live stream, then cool.
Right.
It's a normal day.
Right.
It's a normal day. Greg and I talk all the time.
Yeah.
Now we're doing it in public.
And,
no, and I'm always a big fan of your podcast. I know you've been mostly sort of on hiatus. And I mean, organizing a podcast, is free labor that you're doing. And so I totally understand that it's hard work. I'm glad we only do a monthly podcast, because if we'd committed to anything more than that, my head would explode. So I totally get it, but I can't wait for you to have new episodes and stuff like that. So, and us on the Skywalking Network, have to support each other. So,
which we appreciate. We have moved off of moved on from the network.
Oh, did you? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
well,
we did. That was a while back. And it was kind of
we're independent right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was sort of when we went on hiatus. It was just sort of like, we're gonna kind of like not wrap up. But we're like, we're not sure the direction we're gonna go in for now, and we're like, yeah, that's cool. We moved the podcast to our own site and stuff. And,
okay.
I think they might still be hosting the old ones too, but
that's probably what I'm seeing then. Yeah. So well, we still say your podcast at the end of ours, so I won't change that. Don't worry.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and hey, I'll say on Richard and Sarah are amazing. Skywalking Network is great. They were a big part of getting us going. They were the ones who approached us about getting going on a podcast. That we were reluctant to initially, just for the work involved.
Right.
But the network was so supportive of us and helped us get started, get going with things that really got us going.
And we learned a lot from them too. We learned a whole lot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. We're just kind of.
I still definitely follow them on social media.
Figuring ourselves out.
Yeah, fair enough.
But we're in the planning phase. We're discussing, what we're going to do next. Who we're going to get as guests, what kind of topics we're going to do, and so things will be coming. We don't know exactly. We don't have a timeline, but we're definitely we're planning.
Yeah.
So
and we are sort of actively figuring out, like, we're both at this place where we are either at a point or coming to a point of things wrapping up or whatever else, that we're starting to get the time that we can focus our attention back on it. So that's kind of a big thing. I've been swamped with project work for the past few months. Jack's had a lot going on.
You got a lot of health issues, but I'm fine now. But had a lot of health issues over the last couple of years, and even the last 2 months. But now I'm fine now, and learning to take it a little bit easier and focus on what I need to focus on. So
well, the good thing is you've come out of all that with no major scars or losses. Sorry, that's an amputation joke.
What's that? No.
Sorry, amputation humor.
No, I didn't get that joke. I mean, I knew it was an amputation joke, but I didn't get it specifically.
I was trying to think of good wording there.
Right.
You got through your crisis, and it only cost you a leg and a leg.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys ever want, ideas for guests or connections or anything like that, that James or I can provide, don't hesitate. So
sure, we could do that.
I really enjoy being sort of clued into this. And, it took literally the world shutting down pandemic for me to sort of notice, how many more people were now able to engage. And it bums me out to go back to fully in-person everything. I'm still the person masked and made it home from celebration without COVID, knock on wood. But it's one of those things where I'm still just amazed that a couple years ago we did this all virtually and now it's all in person. And when I tried last year at Comic-Con to find out about, hybrid, can we zoom in a couple specialists? Because you're able to access so many more people when, everyone can participate. And literally at San Diego Comic-Con, at least, there's just, and I mean, big events in general, because I'm sure it was true at Celebration too. There's so many people, the Wi-Fi is terrible. You can't zoom anybody in reliably. And it's a bummer, but also I know Celebration has the live stream. And that's definitely good, but I feel like there was some problems with that this year. And unreliable, and there wasn't a schedule. You didn't know what was going to be live streamed. And I'm just we didn't figure this out in those 3 years. Come on.
Well, how was the Wi-Fi? Was the Wi-Fi was it good?
I actually in the Excel Center, I had good Wi-Fi almost the entire time when I was walking around. I was able to, because I didn't have I didn't activate my cellular account or whatever, and I was able to get text messages and check emails and stuff like that most of the time, which I was surprised by, because at San Diego Comic-Con, almost nothing ever the whole time.
I again, being an artist and doing so many cons, I know it's mostly miss. And then again, there's a few hits, depending on which venue you go to.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised in London. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I'm glad to be more clued into the access, issues. And I was thinking about it in the Andor screening that I went to the other day. Was there wasn't any subtitles, so people with any hearing issues couldn't have gone to this amazing screening and see it on the big screen. And I hope that Return of the Jedi's in theaters. I hope that there's been some
sometimes they do have
the theaters have glasses and stuff.
They have glasses, or they have closed caption devices that
we offer the headsets, and then we also offer the closed captioning.
Yeah.
I work at a theater.
Jack
I work at a movie theater. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
seeing Star Wars on the big screen twice in the last week has actually been really transformative for me. It's such a childhood VHS, still with the commercials start out for me, that it's really exciting. So
I forget what movie or was it a movie on Disney Plus where they add the ASL
Hawkeye
interpreter?
No, not Ant-Man.
What was it? Ant-Man, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They recently added ASL,
in the corner
version.
or something.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's an interpreter signing.
Yeah.
During the movie.
I've been meaning to post about that, because that's a very good.
Right. So hopefully they do that more, and then maybe some of the other companies will catch on. It's oh, that's a really good idea, and hopefully it'll eventually become the norm.
Flipping channels in my London hotel, there were stations where there was an ASL interpreter in the corner for various shows and stuff like that. And I was that doesn't seem like it's that hard. So, especially not with smart TVs where you could turn it on and off, I would think.
Right.
So.
You would think, yeah. I know a lot of things with signing, it's cost issue, really, and unfortunately, and they don't always prioritize that, but sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get scenarios where events have their own interpreters, but they don't use them properly either. Troy, who you talked to, he did ASL performance at the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Ceremony, along with some other people, and yet they cut away on the video.
Exactly. Right.
And they made a big deal about him being there and other people being there.
And they didn't show it.
Yeah, they didn't. Like, we've had picture-in-picture technology for decades, you guys. Like,
it was. I mean,
especially football. They show us that in football all the time.
Right. It was almost like, "Hey, look at us! We got an interpreter. Isn't that awesome?" Like, it must pat on the back, and they're like, but they didn't really follow it through. It was like, no, you got to do it, and you got to follow it through. It's you can't just say, "Oh, look, we have this person, or we did this, we did that."
Yeah. No, and I wanted
to do it right.
I really wanted to see his interpretation. It sounded like from this guy Frank that I know and met through Star Wars, who's an interpreter. Yeah, who's an interpreter. That it was like one of the best versions of the Star Spangled Banner he's ever seen in his life, and that's cool. I want to go see that. So
I think they had a video. I think it was on YouTube.
Just him. Okay, I'll have to go look for
him
that.
and the others doing it. And
Greg, you and I. Go ahead.
Welcome, Maria.
I was waving to the new person.
Oh, hey, Maria.
Hi, it's me, Maria. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Cool. Happy May the 4th.
Happy May the 4th. And May the
4th.
Yeah, May the 4th be with you. Yeah, now there's like this is the May, so like it's the whole month even. Like it's out of
control. There you go.
Taking over. Yeah, we just talking about various accessibility topics and stuff. For anybody who's watching this now or later on, Maria was one of our guests on the podcast talking about her own experiences with mental health. It was a fascinating story. And again, we were talking earlier about how we're all trying to embrace openness and sharing so that people can relate to what we're doing. And I know you're definitely big on that.
Yeah, I think it's one of the ways that we get closer as a community and closer to a more realistic version of society.
Exactly.
We have to be more open about what's going on with us. It's no secret. I struggle with depression, addiction, all kinds of fun stuff. And it's important that other people know that it's not this secret thing that you can't talk about. And there are plenty of other people in the world also going through the same challenges.
Yeah, exactly. It's normalizing it. Like Melissa said, it's letting everybody know this is not uncommon, and it's not. There's nothing wrong with it. There's negative aspects of it that affect us, but it's not a negative thing to be affected by it.
That's a very important distinction.
So on your perspective,
right. Sorry. The way I always think about it is, maybe some people want to be like that unique, beautiful butterfly. There's no one like me out in the world. I don't want to be a test case. I don't want to be any doctor's, this is the first time we've ever seen this. I want to like tell my therapist my problems and have them be like, yeah, that's real normal, Melissa. Like you are this is the 9th time I've heard this week, sort of thing. Like,
right.
Exactly.
I want, and that legitimately helps me. Like maybe other people want to feel unique, but in terms of mental health and struggles, I don't. I want to know that I am cliche, if nothing.
Same. I think it's interesting too, the way ADHD presents itself in women is so vastly different from how it presents itself in men. And even, you get into even further into that dichotomy, Black women, like and there's new research that's just now starting to come out, that suggests that Black women, like, we internalize it more. It's not, I need help. It's something's wrong with me. And
they think that's kind of a societal, cultural, like what aspects go into causing that, you think, or do they really know?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting study that's going on right now. I think a lot of it has to do with like the strong Black woman stereotype, and so that kind of pushes itself onto Black women. We have to be able to carry it all because mom did, grandma did, auntie did, and sort of, healing those generational wounds, embracing a softer life. It's okay, and that's something that I'm working on even to this day. So it's an interesting journey that we're on, and it's incredible to now have information on something that's been relatively like not talked about no research. There's nothing in the community for it, so it's interesting seeing some of the signs and the research that's going on. I'm like, oh crap, I might need to get evaluated.
Right.
Yay, we found another one. Like, we'll just check another box. But it's really interesting. And if anyone's listening to this right now, geez Louise, help me. The Loveland Foundation. The lovelandfoundation.org is a free resource for Black women in the community. If you are struggling with mental health or you know someone who is, they do offer free resources. So visit the Loveland Foundation today.
Nice. Yeah, I saw a mantra the other day. I think honestly it was like a Facebook t-shirt ad or something like that. But I was like, no, but this is good. And it was just like, she knew she could do it, but she didn't have the bandwidth for it. So she said no. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's like, I need a poster of that in my house. No is a complete answer. If you don't have the time, if you don't have the bandwidth, like you have to, sometimes you have to say no to projects or people or things like that you love because it's not sustainable to try to do everything. So
I'll tell you what, I was I didn't want to interrupt the topic, but I was about to say right before the live stream gets going, I'm going to be open about the fact I'm going to run to the restroom before it starts.
Oh yeah,
nice.
But also I did just say I just got the alert that it's going live, but I'm sure they're just getting it ready. So we got look like 3 minutes if they start on time. Oh well, nope, they are going.
Nope.
Let's say I got the.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, look, this looks like they're doing this is like a trailer kind of those stuff.
Oh, interesting. That's not showing on my side. Mine still just shows.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I have to refresh.
Yeah, I just have the splash screen.
Is it easier for us to
I got it live now. Just so I'll refresh.
Is it easier to like somehow screen share it, or should we all be watching individually?
Oh, yeah, we talked about this. I think it's easiest the fact that it's live. We should all be able to open it separately.
Okay.
And I don't want to try to share it here because we don't want to get copyrighted.
Right.
But I think if we have it on separately with low volume or something, we can.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how my headphones will take that, but I'll figure something out. So.
Yeah, I'm not.
This was something.
What I'm gonna do is like I have my headphones obviously on my phone, connected to my phone, but I'll just put on closed captioning.
Yeah.
For the feed.
It's another case where accessibility helps
later
everyone.
if I want to hear it. Right.
Right. There you go. Accessibility features, the closed caption button on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll tell you later about the curb cut effect if you haven't heard of it.
I haven't. I definitely.
I will be right back though.
Okay. Yeah, everyone watch this trailer while we all take a break.
Gotta refresh. Come on. Huh. No, I can't get the feed. There we go. Maybe. The bad thing is, I'm on the my apartment's Wi-Fi. And they've been having trouble today. Oh. Come on. What in the world? No, no. Oh, there. Away. Try this.
Okay, you hear me okay? You hear me right?
Yep. Gotcha.
Well, it's kind of funny. I'm using my Bluetooth earbuds
Oh,
and my
nice.
podcast mic, but when I walk to the bathroom, my earbuds cut out and back on, and I'm like, y'all can't hear me, right? Because I don't know if it might have taken over the sound, you know? I don't. It's just my luck.
Oh, man. There you go. Something you don't want to hear on mic. Someone in the refresher.
I'm not gonna. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. TMI, even for us.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna share really quick because my wife got home.
Mm-hmm.
That not only did she bring me coffee, but she brought me.
Ooh. Let's take a look.
You gotta
It's
put
a little blurry.
Your blurry filter.
It's a ship.
There we go. I'll get it.
Okay, it's a Lego.
Star Destroyer, nice.
Nice.
The Executor came out technically Monday first. But I'm just trying to get it online. They sold out. The Lego site crashed, and then they were sold out of them, backlogged.
Yeah, the Shop Disney was weird today too. I guess because Calcas's Saber came out or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that reminds me. There's actually been a few things I wanted to check on.
Yeah, I didn't get anything really. Rock Love, like, nothing really jumped out at me. Her Universe, nothing really jumped out at me. Hot Topic, nothing really jumped out at me. That Padme sweater, I thought about it, but it wasn't in my size. So, yeah, there's really nothing I'm dying to get. I just got that Loungefly bag at Disney. And then it was on sale for like 5 seconds. It was down to like $28. And then I wake up this morning and it's back to $40.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I should be getting paid for promoting all of your merchandise.
Yeah, really.
So, yeah, I didn't get that. But I picked up the Loungefly bag while I was there. So nothing really jumping out at me today as far as like shopping. I got Ahsoka a little card game on Hallmark or something for like $10. It's just to get her mind going, critical thinking wise. You know, I like challenging her. Just because you're 4 doesn't mean you can't learn more.
Exactly.
So those are fun, but not a lot shopping.
Okay, they're starting their intro, but yeah, I've spent a little bit this week. They have over 1,000 people watching live.
Oh, wow.
I can't seem to get the closed captioning to work on it. I wonder if it's just...
Neither can I.
Yeah, it's like I messed around with the settings and all these sorts of things, but
that's it looks like
there's one weird too.
Mark is there, by the way.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, I'm turning on closed captioning. I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, that's really frustrating.
That
won't work.
Discouraging. Not even auto-generated, I guess.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. Oh, RTD 3PO also there. Excellent. Yeah, interesting picture choice for her. Like one that's there.
Yeah, I actually just noticed that too.
At least it's not
also,
the like.
It's
at least it's not the like Hut Slayer bikini, but
right.
Not the one I would have chosen.
I also like I like this discount Kylo Ren in the background too.
Sweatpants Kylo.
There you go.
Casual Kylo.
Casual
There
Kylo.
we
There you go.
That's it. That's the one. We workshopped it. Good job.
Yeah, they must have disabled closed captioning. What? Really, guys?
Well, can we? Let me see. Can we enable? No, we can't. Not for their video. That reminds me that I was going to check our closed captioning, make sure it was working okay.
Mm-hmm.
How close is it to Mark Hamill's star?
They were supposed to be right next to it, him and Harrison's.
Okay, nice. I wasn't sure how close it would be.
Pretty sure that's what I heard.
We went out there maybe about a year ago for Anaheim celebration, and it was really. I thought to myself, I'm like, where is her star? And it just wasn't there yet. I'm like, huh.
Well, I want to. I do want to listen to him, but I did actually notice that our captions are not working right now either, and that is drop the ball on that on my part because we have not done this before. I'm gonna have to look into why that is. I will make a transcript available afterwards.
There we go. Actually, I might put on my TV closed captioning and see if that works.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really good.
Very nice speech from Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you basically can't mention her without someone saying she always shared, a lot and very open and blunt.
Yeah. On a side note, looks like we don't have closed captioning because it might not be enabled yet for our channel. We don't have enough subscribers or something like that for live streams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that hug.
I'll have to ask someone who was on one of my panels at Comic-Con last year. Chris Bartlett is often the droids, and he's in like a bunch of the Mandalorian episodes and stuff like that as the droids. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to ask him, is that you as C-3PO on the red carpet?
Nice.
Look at that dress. She is that girl. She is her right now.
Yes.
That's amazing. I was thinking that, I'm like, wait, is that her face on?
Yeah. She ate. She ate that dress. Look at that. Plate is clean, right?
That's great.
What's the makeup? Can you tell, or is it just regular makeup, or
a couple of
gems? It seems like she's got some like extra jewels or something like that for sure.
Right, I can't tell what it is. I was curious if it was Star Wars related. No, I can't tell.
That'd be good to have like the little rebel teardrop thing, you know, for Alderaan.
Yeah.
Who are all these people that are not Billy Lord talking?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Let's see. That's sweet. I just saw Ash Croissant Crossan just tweeted a picture of that dress, said, "I am obsessed."
Right? Come on, dress.
Yeah, they should sell that, and that'll be on her universe.
Yeah,
now.
Her universe. Ashley, look.
Yeah, Ashley, get this together before Comic-Con. You've got a few months.
Nice. All right.
Not familiar.
Good job shouting out the droids. I like it.
Never underestimate a droid.
Never, yeah, that's right. I definitely want to find out like whose R2 that is and who's C3PO.
Yeah.
You know, like is the whole 501st there, the Rebel Legion?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I wish they'd actually show more of the crowd.
Greg, do you know, is Albin there? Or is he doing something else?
I don't think he lives around there.
Well, I wasn't sure if you'd make the trip out.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten on Instagram to see if anyone's posted him being there.
Wow. So cute. Come on, dress. I'm obsessed. Wow. That's going to be on her universe tomorrow.
Thanks, R2.
Oh, good. I'm glad they got all those politicians out of the shot or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
really.
that's fine.
Right?
Happen, but also,
not only did they get the politicians further away, but bringing in R2 and 3PO. Get them closer.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Nice.
Pulling a Kabe. Oh no. Yes. Perfect. Nice.
There you go.
I was gonna say they should have put some in it, but it actually probably is already glittery.
Probably is. Most of them have like flecks of gold in it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right.
Ceremonial glitter.
Yeah. That's something I'm learning about Carrie Fisher. I didn't know the glitter thing. So
here did I.
Well,
her live shows.
Well, it's funny that Billy said that Carrie, would annoy people with their glitter at cons and stuff, that she'd throw glitter on people. That Billy started doing that herself at Celebration and other events.
Excellent. I like that. Maybe I'll just start doing it. Probably can't really get away with it the same way.
But I think on one of the lives for the Star Wars show, Celebration,
work.
I think last year. Yeah. Yeah, I think one of them last year, Anthony or somebody said that they knew that Billy had been there for a previous interview because there's glitter all over the seat.
Right.
That's great.
Okay.
Someone definitely should Photoshop in the message coming from R2, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. There's some logistical challenge here with R2.
Yeah.
He did it. He made it.
Yeah, you'll have to find out, Melissa, if that is that guy in the suit. He's getting a lot of feature here.
Definitely. I know it's one of those you know, whatever things they try to say is like, oh no, it's always Anthony Daniels. Like, no, we know that's not true. It's okay.
Yeah.
It used to be Grant Imahara actually used to do a lot of appearances
Did he really?
in C-3PO.
Hmm.
Yeah, when he
I
worked
didn't
at
know that.
ILM, he fit in it. I guess his legs were a little shorter, so they like shaved off a little bit on the legs. But yeah, and actually on screen in Attack of the Clones, it's even Grant Imahara at some point. So,
I believe that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, did they ever go old school and put somebody in R2?
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Yeah. Actually,
I'm sure that obviously 90% of the time it is fully robotic, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, that actually Lee talked about that on the panel that I did at Celebration this year. And I can share a picture with you that there is a point when R2D2 has like two legs and they're doing like when they need to do the like body tilt
the wobble
sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That they'll put someone in there. And he had a picture of, you know, it's not Kenny Baker anymore, but they did have a picture of someone in the R2D2.
I'm curious now who that is now.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that was Last Jedi. So, but yeah, I didn't realize that either. So,
well, speaking of that witch too, I think that's kind of cool when Yona took over for Chewie. How they're saying sometimes it was Chewie and sometimes it wasn't. They're saying he'll never tell which scenes he was in because he wants to keep, it's just Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be kind of cool. It's like, no, it's just R2. It's not Kenny. It's just
right.
Yeah. Honor what they've done.
Right. Exactly.
But, embody the character.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I feel like they did at some point talk about, Peter Mayhew, sometimes in the sitting scenes and things like that versus obviously it was like active or anything like that. But yeah.
Right now, like Yona specifically said he'll never say which scenes was him.
Yeah. You can probably figure it out to some degree.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But
no, yeah, that's all fair. I just, Anthony Daniels isn't going to be around forever, and he's not going to necessarily fly out to Hollywood for a non-speaking, So it's okay to me if that is Chris Bartlett or whoever else. I'll definitely find out and maybe find out, whatever he can share if it was him.
Yeah.
I got to roll, you guys. This was fun.
Okay.
It's lovely to see you guys again. And you're welcome on Sisters. You too, Melissa, anytime.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Have a great day.
Thanks a lot for coming. Good to see you. Easy.
That was very short but sweet, and I'm really excited to go see the star next time I'm up in LA. So
definitely get some pictures.
So how does this work though? Like, I mean, it seems like they're running out of room. Did they just extend it or like?
No, I mean in terms of like prime real estate, they might be running out of room, but like the street goes on for miles and miles and miles. So
I've never been there, so I can't.
Yeah. And I think at some point it was like single file sort of along the street, but now there's definitely like double. It's like too wide and stuff like that. So. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but I feel like they've got unlimited potential there. So, but they always talk about like the prime real estate, right? They're the ones that are like out front of the big, like the Chinese theater and those sorts of things. And then there's some where it's just like, you're out front of a random liquor store. Or,
that's they should put Carrie somewhere really funny like that.
That would
be good.
I'm sure she would have appreciated it. Yeah, put me next to the liquor store or whatever.
Exactly. So, but yeah, no, I know that they said it was near Mark Hamill and near Harrison Ford.
Right.
So I'm excited to go look for that. So it's interesting that you said that there's not like a writing one though, like because they each have like a little, like hers was like a film camera, and then I think there's like a couple others, maybe just to show that you're like an actor versus a director versus a whatever.
Right.
So I like that Billy was like, I wish there was like a little book one because that's also a huge part of her legacy. So, Yeah, no, that's exciting.
Of course, Carrie probably would have wanted something like really funny and probably maybe a little lewd for her insignia or her little graphic.
Probably.
Right. No, it's a little not too PC. But...
That's okay. Neither was she, so.
Exactly. Right.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, that
Yeah.
was
So,
really cool.
and I mentioned a bit a couple times during that. Yeah, I'm sort of discouragingly. There was no closed captions on that, as y'all mentioned, and either there's some YouTube restrictions you have to meet, requirements you have to meet, which I
Maybe.
don't think we do either.
No, it's not on us.
Well, I'm saying, no, well, it's both. It's both their live stream,
right, and ours.
I don't. They have they're big enough that they should have.
Right. Oh yeah. Right.
For our live stream, we may not yet meet the requirements just based on being a new account and our size and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would ever limit that, but
Yeah, that's
even
really
then, can y'all hear me okay? Am I clear enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just had to turn mine off because they cut the feed.
Oh.
No, I'm listening to what's on the playlist.
Yeah, mine did too. Mine just started. Real Reject started yelling at me.
Yeah, same here. Well, mine was. I forget. I can't remember who this is.
Yeah. But yeah, for whatever reason, the I can understand us not meeting requirements for it. But it's just discouraging that they didn't have it on the official channel for fans who need that access. And it was let me mention that. I'll come back to that in a minute, but it's discouraging. But I mean the thing is, that's even given the fact that YouTube's captions aren't that great to begin with. The auto-generated ones are very hit and miss, depending on the audio quality and a number of other factors. So it's kind of like the minimal thing. It's like just turn on the automatic captions at least. So there's something that people can try to make out.
It's better than nothing, right?
Better than nothing.
Right.
Ideally, you have really good quality captions.
I didn't even know you could turn it off. So it seems like they had to try not to have that be closed caption.
Well, I went into our settings. I would think this was on by default, but in our live stream settings right here, there is a closed captioning. It's off for us by default, but that might be because we're not qualified, and it's also grayed out, so I can't do it. I would hope for most live streams it's on by default, because it doesn't automatically show it for everybody, but it enables the ability to turn it on for the viewer.
Right.
If they want to.
I'm just really surprised by that. That seems so weird.
So, yeah, I think I tweeted about it just to say that's discouraging, and hope people were able to watch it and enjoy it. But we will definitely.
If I get cut off, give me 1 minute.
No problem. Like for our stream here, just for any of our conversation being worthwhile, we'll generate some transcripts after the fact for this recording and add them to the recording, so anybody can come back and just hear what we've talked about, any highlights or anything like that are worth listening to. But I may also try to see if we can generate captions if they don't have any after the fact, which I doubt. Try and generate some transcripts of their of those speeches so people can see them and read them.
Yeah, now I feel like I need to check our Star Warsology's page. I just assumed that it was like a default that people could hit closed captions.
You would think
auto-generated ones,
right?
Like for the little documentary things that I did for Celebration last year, I made sure they were captioned. But for like all of our podcast episodes, I've just been assuming, honestly, that they that YouTube, would at least get 90% of the words right. But I'm checking that now because I'm worried maybe it's not.
I use for our podcast episodes, and I probably will be using it for our videos as well. There's a few of them out there. I used to use otter.ai, which did transcripts for you, but now I use Descript, which is pretty much becoming the most popular one I've seen, because it allows you to. It does automatic transcripts. They're very good quality, but then you can actually edit your podcast audio or your video by editing the transcript. So if you say, I want to take out this sentence, and it'll just edit the video or audio clip for you. And so it actually lets you work with the transcript, and you get a transcript out of it automatically. So it's a pretty cool tool. I will probably run all this through that just to generate transcripts through there. And then a lot of those great tools, will auto generate them, but then you can go through and review and edit them easily, to make corrections. And as somebody pointed out to me recently on Twitter, as a Star Wars podcaster, the biggest challenge with editing captions and generate captions is all the proper names. And the weird Star Wars names and words.
Right.
My wife can attest to that, because she was offering her help, which was awesome for a lot of our podcasts when we did added transcripts through Otter and later Descript. And she said that was what she spent most of her time on, was because she's not as devoted a Star Wars fan as I am. She would edit our transcripts in one window and have like Google open in the other so she could find these words that she did not.
Although I will say I like that with closed captioning, especially like when there's a new episode, like a Mando or whatever, and there's a new character, with the accents.
You can actually find out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's what their name is. Or if they don't even say their name, it'll have so and so : and then of course their dialogue.
It's also great to have that, and also sometimes like to get that dialogue. Like I said, I have trouble with accents, and that applies to characters too, And
then you add an unusual sci-fi name.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
it's not like Jack or Greg or Melissa.
Right. Yeah.
What is it? Family Guy. What the hell's an aluminum falcon? Or what the heck is a aluminum? Was it aluminum falcon? Anyway, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I turn on closed captions for Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, I should.
That helps a lot.
I never thought about that.
It goes a long way.
Right.
But I mean, this is a good example too. I mean, just that kind of stuff, identifying people names, identifying, being able to make out things you just can't understand for whatever reason. This is kind of what I mentioned, that curb cut effect. Melissa, is kind of a well-known term in accessibility areas, where it's the idea that something that is intended for accessibility needs benefits everybody. And a good example is curb cuts on curbs on like crosswalks, the little ramp, sloped areas of curbs were primarily designed and put in place for wheelchairs originally, but everybody uses them for strollers or for rolling a bag or any number of reasons that people might need that. It benefits everybody.
Unless the city police park in front of it, which they have. Exactly. No, I've been downtown and police have been parked in front of curb cut. It's like, hello.
Seriously.
Do the plows pile snow in front of them too? Up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
One thing I like to go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, the closed captioning definitely in for accents. Like if I was watching Banshees of Inisherin or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need the closed captions.
Yeah, right.
So,
but I was gonna say too, with I love when the editors actually get smart with it. Like like back in the day, it would always be center bottom. So I love when they're well more aware of white text doesn't always work center bottom. So I've seen some movies where if they're speaking in a different language, they'll put that person's dialogue near them, and maybe in an area where whatever the text color is, it's not going to interfere, and you can actually read it, and it'll jump back and forth. Different. Now you gotta get a follow. You gotta figure out where it's going to go, but still, it's nice. So one, you can actually read it, and then two, you realize who's talking.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You got to figure it too with Star Wars. Back in the day when they were wearing masks. Of course, the masks weren't as articulated, so that would really help. Knowing who's speaking.
I'm sure that's a problem with Mando.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, a whole group of Mandalorians talking to each other.
Right.
Can you tell who's
exactly.
talking right now?
Right.
Yeah. On that note, really quick, I also noticed. I watched a couple of Visions episodes last night. And like to remind everybody, it's like Disney. I think most services offers some of this to different degrees, but Disney Plus seems to be really good about, they've got audio descriptive audio. That just, so I turned that on for a couple of Visions just to see, and it's so good about describing what's going on some of these things that are hard to describe.
Right.
As well as for the subtitles, a lot of customization options in terms of like the size and transparency and the color. They offer a lot of that, at least on the web app, version I was looking at, and I think they have a lot of that on most other platforms.
I remember thinking that it was something I was, trying to be more aware of when I was writing for Nerdist and stuff like that, is like the alt text, for pictures and stuff like that too. And with the NASA has like some poetic alt text writer for like all those James Webb Space Telescope photos.
I've heard those. Those are awesome. Yeah, I've seen
where
those.
it's like you can't just say like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, what, like a purple pinwheel galaxy on a background of stars, but like whoever was writing them for NASA was like really getting eloquent about it, because those pictures make you feel something. So the old text has to make you feel something too, and that's
a high standard.
Yeah, exactly. I was sort of like proud of NASA for thinking about that, So
I find it
even going.
Go ahead.
That's right. Even going back to the interpreters, I know I forget who. Do you remember, Greg, who it was? We were watching. She was so emotional about the fact that they put the interpreter on, and I remember she was saying that captioning is okay, but to actually have an interpreter, especially an interpreter that's really getting into it and really using their body language.
Yeah,
it's just so much
conveying
better.
A lot of emotion.
You're conveying, you get exactly.
It's going back to that.
Just reading, right?
Yeah, going back to that Super Bowl performance. It wasn't just interpreting; it was performing the song, the words and the music and the lyrics. And those are the best. And really shows what that can be. That it's a very visual, body-driven language.
Right.
Yeah, because again, that song gives goosebumps. So if the performance can too, that's really cool.
Like I love heavy metal, and I've seen some heavy metal ASL interpreters, and they just really, really get into it. I think I even saw one. It was like somebody doing Snoop.
Yeah,
and it was just really cool. And some other like really fast rapper, and the ASL he was keeping up big time. He did not slow down. He was actually able to keep up with the whoever the artist was. It's pretty cool.
No, I actually remember now that you say it, seeing someone do. Yeah, I think it was like WAP. Like it was definitely like a naughty song. The ASL interpreter saying these things, also like twerking and stuff like that. And it was like, yes,
it's funny.
Amazing.
I actually just saw a great clip from I believe it's just a few. I saw it this morning, but I think it was from a few days ago, of a Wu-Tang performance, and Method Man.
Maybe that's what it was.
There was a woman in front, the ASL interpreter, and she's keeping up and jamming, and Method Man is on the stage. He's like looking at her like wow.
I think that's what it was. I saw,
to see him staring and appreciating her, like yeah.
Amazing.
So
one other thing
all the
go ahead.
Sorry, I keep interrupting. I apologize.
But we always keep talking at the same time. This way,
it's hard on this format.
Yeah, exactly. The one other important thing that I've learned that I always try to point out too is that I think people oversimplify their understanding of captions and ASL and the relationship between them, because a lot of people who know ASL don't read or have visual problems or whatever, for whatever reason, people can't always read captions. And people who read captions don't always know ASL, and there's an assumption that they do. Well, can't you just follow the interpreter? Like, no, I don't know ASL, but I can read captions or I can read lips. There's all these different ways of people adapting, or the way that they've come up, their different disabilities or whatever. And a lot of people might say like, oh, well, we're not going to have any ASL people, but there's going to be captions, so it's not a problem. And they're like, no, it actually still is. Ideally, you want to offer multiple options. Certainly, it's always a challenge, and hardly anybody does everything. But it's
well, you're never gonna hit the mark and accommodate to everybody.
Yeah.
But at least, I mean, as long as you're trying and you accommodate to as many people
as hard
as you can.
Yeah.
Right.
And starting with being conscious of it, which is
right. Exactly. Right.
Not everybody does. Even thinks about it.
Yeah. Well, there's a huge debate the other day on for Steel City Con, which is a local con here, and there's a fan thread, and they were talking about there's like, hey guys, can you please make sure that you're aware of people with mobility devices?
Yeah,
because I mean that even though it's a smaller con, it does get really busy, especially on Saturday. Like it gets wall to wall. And it's kind of cool too because the announcer for the con, he was in that message group, and he was like, "Yeah, well, I already do make announcements for hey guys, please be aware of other guests with mobility devices." But he said, "I'll make sure that for the next one, I'll even up the ante and I'll do more of them."
Yeah, good.
So it's kind of nice that they were in there and really accommodating and really getting feedback.
Yeah, if people don't know or aren't
right,
is there a disability accessibility version of woke? Because like you become, if you're not generally aware of accommodations, and it was like I had an eye-opening experience when I met Jack in college, because we started hanging out. I was like, okay, we got this limitation, like we can't go in this building, we can't go in this building.
Right.
We have to pull Jack's chair up the stairs in this building.
We were told we couldn't. Remember, we were told we couldn't.
Yeah.
But we still did it.
Well,
like, yeah. You shouldn't do that, because if Jack gets hurt, then there's going to be a liability. Like, whatever.
We're not worried about that.
Put in the ramp, and then we'll talk.
Right. Exactly.
And then
what was I saying? Yeah, it's like you just realize how pervasive it is. Like, because we were talking about cons earlier, and certainly all the bigger cons do have awareness of the need for accessibility. Maybe they have the budget for accessibility consultants. They're aware of it. They try to implement things themselves. We had John from Three Rivers Con there in Pittsburgh on our podcast, who Jack knows, and he just talked about his experience and what they were trying to do, the steps they were taking, which he was learning a lot from Jack. But like I mentioned that I'm going to Tidewater Comic Con here locally in Virginia Beach at the end of the month. I went to their website. They don't have an accessibility section. There's nothing. There's nothing on the website for the venue, which is our big convention center. They have nothing about accessibility. I emailed them to find out, partly out of curiosity and doing what I do here, like what information do you have about it? But I also specifically want to find out, I'm taking my daughter, it's her first convention. I want to know about sensory. Do you have a quiet room somewhere? What kind of sensory things are you providing? Anything at all? And they wrote back and said, we hadn't thought about it. We'll see what we can come up with.
Yikes.
Like,
and how long has that con been around?
Right.
A while. Yeah.
See, that's messed up. Like I can understand if they've only been around a couple of years. Even that's not exactly an excuse, but at least it'd be an understanding. But no, if they've been around, there's no. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's what's always amazing when I give this example too. I'm a software developer. I do websites. and I occasionally interview people to bring onto projects and stuff. And generally in my field, there's a lot of awareness now of accessibility, not only just because of it's a lot of discussion around it, and it's featured everywhere, and people learn about it, and there are tools for implementing it, but also there's laws. You can get sued now for your website if it's not compliant, and so it's become a big deal. And I interviewed somebody a few months ago or last year sometime. He said as a developer had been around for a while, he had a pretty lengthy resume. He'd never heard of the word accessibility before. He had no idea anything about it, about what it meant. Or he's like, so what is that like for what is, I'm like, yeah, for like, just disabilities, for screen readers, and that. He goes, oh, I think he was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Like, what planet have you been working on? Like, it's amazing how ignorant people still are about this stuff, when it should just be common sense and one of the first things you think about. Like, I mean, we're very big, obviously, on our audience and our message that we try to do our best. But it's kind of like the very first thing you should be thinking about when you want to create any kind of content or anything or event or whatever is, will it be available to everybody? Or are you creating this only for an exclusive audience?
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, even us like sharing our panels at conventions as like podcast episodes, I feel like is an accessibility thing, because it's just like not everyone can go or afford or whatever to these conventions. And I mean, exclusive, content is part of the game or whatever, but like there's literally no reason we can't press record on our iPhones and then like
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. I was going to mention that earlier because when we were talking about the live streams and you were talking about how it was very unreliable and unclear about what was going to be streamed or not.
Right.
The streams are, I mean, physically there's a lot of people who just can't go to the conventions, especially across the ocean, whatever, but also just in general, this is the only way a lot of people are going to be able to experience this kind of thing. And there is a balance to be struck, like you said, about exclusivity. You want attendees to be able to experience certain things, and I get that, but
but it is also something at conventions that like once you're talking about like whatever the woke equivalent term is for accessibility issues. It's one of those things that like for me learning about it's like, okay, so yes, I've seen the ADA lines, I've seen ASL interpreters and those sorts of things at conventions, but there's so many more issues to it than that. The quiet room, and I know that they've had those at some of the conventions I've gone to. Just having staff that knows anything about what's going on and stuff like that. It's just, you do start to see like more and more how many people need a little bit of extra accommation, and it's really not that hard to have that department or have that part of your website or whatever.
Some basic information, basic setups. Just have in mind a room somewhere. I mean, there may be more to it.
And guys, I might cut out because my phone's down to 5%, but I'm trying to. I'm putting it up on my iPad. So if I get cut off,
I was just gonna say,
you should be able to.
We were just looking at your I was just gonna say I was gonna cut out and let you guys finish up the show, but I won't leave Greg here.
Look at my dog.
Oh yay, that's better. I won't leave Greg here alone until Jack is definitely not about to drop off.
It's always good to see Mindy.
Happy.
Well, let me bring back around if you have a little more time. We can talk generally about just some of our. We haven't talked a whole lot about mental health, and specifically, other than the meta discussion of discussing it, being open about it.
Right.
But I mean, like we've talked a number of times on our podcast about our experiences. We try to be really open about it all. And like in my case, my mental health is closely intertwined with my chronic illness stuff. And so it's both, I'm both like, sort of like physically and also functionally affected by it, in the sense that like my like depression and anxiety sometimes just centers around the problems and the impact of my illness and that kind of stuff and my functional level.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like physically, it actually drives, my state because of, my, I have dysautonomia, which affects my autonomic nervous system, which affects my fight or flight, my anxiety, and my depression. All those things are all kind of intertwined, along with
Mhm.
brain fog, cognitive issues, things like that. And um, it's hard for me to address other than medication and treatment, which has done a lot for me. Um,
Mhm.
but most of the other things I've tried have not helped a lot because it's like complicated. It's like I'm a complicated mess to try and deal with. So yeah, that's kind of the context of where I come from, and I know there's a lot of people in the chronic illness community who talk about this kind of stuff all the time about how it affects
Mhm.
um, their mental health. So I want to mention all of that so people can hear it and probably relate to it some.
Yeah. No, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. My mom has a chronic illness that definitely like was a big part of my childhood and my teenage years,
Mm,
and still to this day sort of, having that incorporated into life. And I definitely
yeah.
remember her um having like a disability hang tag, and the parking and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and then people like yelling at her for, because she's not in a wheelchair, and it's like that's not
Yep.
just what this is for. There's lots of invisible illnesses, and
Still
just sort
happens.
of,
Yep.
right. I'm sure. So and then yeah, just different cycles of medication, and working or not working, or having to
Yeah.
adjust to things or whatever. So um thank you for sharing your experience with that too.
Yeah. I did kind of come up also in a kind of a similar family situation where my mom
Mm.
struggled with her own mental health and physical health issues, and it's weird. It did kind of like in some ways probably prepared me a bit for some of this that I've dealt with.
Mhm.
Some of it is genetic. So,
Mhm.
but uh, yeah, definitely been through that as
Yeah.
well. Having coming out in that environment.
Yeah.
Um, she's doing great now at 70 something years old. I
Yeah, that's
mean,
good.
she's struggling physically and other things, but she's also remarkably well too at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah. For me, it was funny because I actually had my first session with a therapist in ages this morning before we started chatting.
oh, good timing.
And that's actually because, so much of insurance is tied to employment. And I
Right.
worked for a university for so long that had really amazing health
Mm,
benefits and mental health benefits and all of that sort of stuff. And then I left to go work at Nerdist, and,
right.
sort of pursue my passion or whatever. And the insurance offered there was expensive and not nearly as good. And so I just
Yeah, I
didn't see
bet.
my therapist for like a year while I didn't have the health insurance for
That's rough.
it. And then with all the changes I'm going through, and anxiety and imposter syndrome and stuff like that, of this I got laid off in January, and sort of trying
Right.
to spin it into a good thing. But that's obviously, I need outside help to get through that. And so I went back to my therapist from a year ago, and I have to pay a whole lot more to see her now because I don't have that insurance. But
Right.
we had a good session, and I feel a little bit more like I don't know, she was always really good with like mantras and stuff like that, which is
Mm,
helpful for me. I because I'll spin off on like a little anxiety spiral, and it's like I just need, to repeat something to myself, and okay, all right, that's right, reminders and stuff
yeah.
like that for me.
Right. Yeah. That's good you're going back. Does it seem like you kind of like picked up where you left off? Is there like a lot of new stuff to kind of like work through and
Yeah, I mean,
stuff?
a lot has changed in my life in the year it's been since I talked to her.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally stopped talking to her because I, left insurance and stuff like that. Um,
Right.
But so yeah, there was all the updates of like, oh, I got laid off and I'm going to try to write books and I have to make my own schedule and I'm in charge of this and oh god, there's no safety net. So there were some updates, obviously, but for the most part, like, no, I really like the rapport I have with her, and she gets that like what I need is to sort of talk things out and then come up with something to repeat to myself when it gets, a little bit overwhelming and stuff like that. So, considering how much more I had to pay for the hour, I at least feel like it was definitely it was definitely worth doing. I won't see her as often as I could afford to before, but I needed it. It's because it's been 4 months since I got laid off, and definitely time to sort of prove that I'm doing something, and so I needed that motivation.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah. Are you kind of working independent now?
Yeah, I mean, I have no real job. I did a couple temp gigs to pay some bills and stuff like that, but my plan is to spend the rest of 2023 pitching book ideas that I've had in my head, but haven't had time or energy or bandwidth or whatever to put together before. And I really love going to conventions and sharing, behind the scenes stories or the science ones that James and I do. But finding some way to pay the bills with that too, looking for funds and stuff like that. And then if all of that sort of stuff fails or proves to not be able to pay the bills, then in January, I'll get myself a, quote unquote real job again.
I have, since I kind of ended up in consulting in the same similar circumstances, but I had to leave my job because of the challenge of working in an office full time and their requirements to work there physically, and they struggled with accommodation. But I have to get into all that. But basically, I was in a situation where I was like, I think I'll try to find another job, but I'm gonna try to do some contract work in the meantime. And then I just kept doing that and decided actually that works a lot better for my situation. So I just stuck with it.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of struggling up and down, but it's been a few years now, and it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of settled out now.
That's good to hear.
Stable. If anything, I have too much work to do, which is also a struggle. But it's that good struggle, It's like glad to have the work, but there's a lot of uncertainty around it and a lot of challenge around it. So many things you have to be responsible for doing yourself. And what I was going to say though was a friend of mine, a friend consultant who sort of has helped me a lot in getting it when I was getting going. And now he says all the time. He's like, the absolute worst case scenario is you have to get a job.
Right. Yeah. Which is where I was a couple of years ago. And so it's gonna be a hard adjustment if I do that though, because now already I'm like, already with working from home for the last couple of years, I'm gonna be completely cranky if I have to go back to commuting during traffic hours, if I have to work in an office, if I have to share an office, if I can't see my dog all day every day, it's like there's a lot of things I would have to get used to with a real 9 to 5. But it's given me some perspective on, the pandemic in general, I know did for a lot of people. Had been told for years they couldn't work from home, and now all of a sudden, oh hey, look, you can work from home.
How about that?
Yeah, exactly. But then this extra thing of working from home full time, I was like, I don't think I can ever go back. And now working, not even working a 9 to 5, just sort of like having projects and I can take on as much or as little as I want. I'm going to get used to that pretty quick. So
yeah, exactly. I both can't like emotionally imagine going back to that environment. Also practically, I don't think I could either. So as I was proving at my last job, I couldn't maintain the time or hours that they needed to work. I wake up at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So like right off the bat, that's challenging for a 9 to 5.
But if you're productive at midnight, then you should be allowed to be productive at midnight.
You would think, you would think so.
So Yeah, coming around to writing as a career change for me, you know, in the last like 5 or 6 years has really shown that, right? Because for a while I worked in the chemistry lab, and it's like, okay, fair enough. I can't take the chemistry lab home, you know. But when you're writing, it was just I was so often. I am not a morning person. I'm not productive in the morning. That, you know, if I need to do something, I could do research then or something like that. But man, like after dinner or after my husband goes to bed, like I will just get ideas and go crazy. And it was like, oh, well, then I'll just write then. So think how much
I
more
do the same
productive.
thing with art. Anytime
Sorry.
an art project, like if I'm doing art and 2 in the morning, I'm doing it in 2 in the morning, or I'll do it in 2 in the afternoon. I mean, it's whatever, and that's ideal for me. I wish I could do it full time, but obviously it's kind of like starving artist isn't just a cliche. So,
and I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but I mean, there's an extra challenge too of balancing it with like disability benefit stuff. Yeah, that's a hole that's difficult to get out of financially because income
there's
limits.
so many restrictions. Yeah, exactly right.
That's difficult. A lot of people don't understand it either. How difficult it is. I mean, people have told me that I should get on, you know, I should apply for disability benefits, and it's like, well, first, I don't think I can cover family of 3 on that, and also, it doesn't really, I think, barely pay bills, much less, and they also don't understand the restrictions around it. I mean,
like it's weird because like it sounds weird, but like I can't afford to work too much.
Yeah,
like that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I literally cannot afford to work too many hours.
Yeah.
What?
Right. And they talk about, you know, well, you just don't want to work, whatever. Like, no, I want to work. I want to make more money.
Yeah, exactly.
I would actually like to work my way out of, you know, you know, support, but you literally can't. You have to. It's a similar problem actually with health insurance, kind of like what Melissa was talking about, because when I went independent, I had to get my own health insurance.
Right.
And
exactly.
In order to like leave a job that has health insurance, I need to be able to make enough money to earn my income plus pay for health insurance.
Exactly. Right.
And then it's not going to be as good health insurance either. So I have to pay more money medically, for medical bills and stuff. It's it's a tough
especially like when I get a new wheelchair, or like I'm currently looking into getting prosthetics. So, you know, there's the maintenance of the chair, there's going to be the maintenance of prosthetics, and just so many mandatory things that I need as a disabled person that I can do just some Joe Schmo insurance.
Right.
I need
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just what was I thinking about? Oh yeah, and plus, I mean, there's other restrictions on disability and stuff where on benefits where a lot of people don't realize. Like, I mean, like I don't think I could get it because I'm married. And if you're married and the other person can work, which my wife technically could.
Yep.
I know there's
once you get married, you have to they cut you off.
Yeah. So a lot of people who are disabled who are on any kind of government benefits cannot get married just because of the rules.
Right.
And it's ridiculous. It's it's another area of discrimination that people don't realize.
Yeah. I can't have above a certain amount of money in my account.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. So let's say, oh God, I have over the amount that I'm supposed to, then I gotta waste money, which I don't mind going in and spending it on pops or whatever. But at the same time, is like that. It just like
you can't accumulate.
It's what's the word? I can't think of the word. Like it's pushing me to be irresponsible with money. What's the word? I can't think. What's when
Encouraging?
Encouraging, it's a fine word. Yeah,
Or
they're
enabling
encouraging me. Enabling. Thank you. Enable.
Right.
Yeah. It's enabling me to
Bad
be
habits.
irresponsible.
Right.
Yeah. And even if they would just
I'm
let
trying
you
my
save
part
up
to
some.
do the opposite. I would try to
Right.
be responsible. You're like,
Yeah.
nope, can't be responsible.
Yeah,
Dang it.
that's wild.
So then
You got this money, we gotta go to Galaxy's Edge. We have no choice.
No, I no,
That was part of it.
you're kidding, but you're not.
Right.
we that's why I was like, hey, Greg, you want to go? Because I can't hold on to this.
Yeah.
And even like
Can't keep
when
the balance in your bank.
and thank God, I mean, my dad is still alive, but he's 77, so I know he's talked to his financial advisor to figure out how, I can still be supported, on when that day comes.
Right.
So he had to figure out how do I need to adjust my will so that I'm taken care of, but it's not to screw everything up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Massively
ridiculous.
complicated. Yeah.
Well, guys, I should run. I'm gonna let you finish up the feed.
Cool.
Yeah,
But
okay.
thanks
good.
for having me.
Yeah,
really appreciate you coming on. This has been great.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's always good to talk and hear from you guys. And that ceremony was definitely really fun. I was glad to see.
Yeah, it was.
I want to see pictures of the crowd and stuff like that too. Because
me too.
Yeah, we really appreciate everything you've done for us too. I know you're just you're doing your work and you're getting posted and published and stuff. But you've we mentioned earlier on that you did do the article for us in Star Wars Insider, which was great exposure for us and really meant a lot to us to get in there and and just get the topic highlighted.
Right.
We're very much, it's not about us. We're happy to boost anybody else who's doing this kind of stuff. But anybody talking about this theme and topics and messages and stuff in any of the official or prominent medias.
Yeah.
Great,
no, and it came about because of the sort of virtual, fandom that we all had to do for those couple of years of the pandemic. But there's also so many other, like when I wrote about languages for Star Wars Insider, it was like, well, we got to talk about, sign languages. And then that sort of I keep meeting more and more people and connecting more and more. And yeah, if you guys ever have any other stories you want to see or things that should be covered, let me know. I definitely want to keep putting content out there that's, new and reaches part of the fandom that doesn't always get represented and stuff like that. And, it's not like I always have to be the one to write these. There's, I always encourage the more the merrier. And I actually wish it was something I did at Celebration where they had some of the insider writers just hang out by the insider booth and try to encouraging people to buy and subscribe to the magazine. But I meant to talk more about also send them your pitches, that's all that I did the first time.
That's a goal of mine, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it absolutely should be. Because we don't just need to hear from the same 12 people or whatever. So
right.
Yeah.
I want to mention too, really quick on the topic, that people should go check out your interviews with Troy Kotzer, because those were really great, in-depth. Both the video that I believe you did with Nerdist, interviewing Troy. I believe that was with an interpreter, right, on video.
It was, yeah. The person that he's used to working with, yeah.
And then you also, I was actually surprised. I downloaded a bunch of insider issues from digitally from my library, so I could read the High Republic stories in them. And one of them I flipped through, and it was like the whole feature you'd written about Troy. And doing the sign language for the Tuscans, which a lot of people probably don't realize. We talk about a lot. He's like kind of our pinnacle of like representation right now. given his prominence and everything. So it's been very cool.
He was an amazing person to interview, and that was actually a joint interview, like for Insider and for Nerdist, sort of coming together to be like, oh yeah, talk to him once, and then we'll use
I thought it probably was kind of repurposing content type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, his interpreter was great to work with. But yeah, he's amazing.
That's a great example too of like, we want to get more into this into the video stuff, because I know that, he's on our list of people we'd love to be able to talk to at some point. but
exactly.
I wouldn't want to do it if we can't do video.
Mhm.
You know, and we'll probably do an audio version with transcripts, make that available, but say ideally go watch the video where you can actually see us talk and interact with him, and see his expression with his ASL and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. No, I recommend it, and I have the contact for like his people. When you get to that point, if you want it.
Might compare notes with you when you get to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he was really great, and it was interesting though, because like, you know, the interpreter, it's their job, right? So you are paying, you have to pay the interpreter for their time, because they're professionals, and that's how that works.
Right.
But also Frank, who we talked about a little bit earlier, sort of gave me some pointers of, you know, what I could do to make it easier, and stuff like that, and a couple of basic signs and those sorts of things. You know, it's the same thing as going to a new country and wanting to be able to say, you know, hello and thank you and those sorts of things. So, but he was great, and he was down, and man, he's a Star Wars fan. So I think the more Star Wars conversations he can have, the better. And I hope that they keep bringing him back for more and more stuff. It's amazing.
Yep.
So
yeah,
we're huge fans. Huge fans.
Well, I'd love to see him at conventions and stuff like that. And I know that's a whole other level of having to think about logistics and stuff. But, you know, if I ever do a Star Wars like languages, you know, panel at a convention, I want him on it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. 100%.
So, yeah. Hopefully these are all goals. So we'll keep in touch. And thanks for having me, and thanks for having this talk. And I'll send you pictures when I go to see the star at some point in the next few months.
Nice.
So thanks, guys.
Great. Thanks a lot. Take it easy.
Sweet.
Cool. That was awesome. She's really good. Maria was fun for a while when she was able to join, as always. My wife said my audio occasionally gets quieter because I mumble or move away from the mic. So hopefully it's come out pretty clear.
I haven't noticed it.
Okay, good. She said it might also be her TV, but I know that I do have a tendency on the podcast and stuff where
it does happen.
Trail off from
when we talk, it happens. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but no, I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it today.
Yeah, good, cool.
And the only reason mine kind of is right now is because I'm literally holding my phone.
Yeah,
because I had to go over to the kitchen where my charger is.
Yeah, see, this is another case where captions would be helpful for anyone who wanted to understand what we're saying when we mumble a lot. Just trying to make sense of our mumbling.
Right. Charlie Brown.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, that's another thing the software has the transcription stuff has trouble with. A lot of times at the end of sentences will just become like indecipherable or blah, 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 or some other random words because it can't.
Again, what's an aluminum falcon?
Right. What the hell's an aluminum falcon? Exactly. We didn't actually. So we have a few minutes just before our scheduled wrap up. I don't know if anybody's even. I don't think anybody's even watching or.
I don't know.
Watch this later. It doesn't really matter.
I do see 3 messages in chat.
That's probably all me.
Yeah, it's all Maria. It's all Maria.
I did miss those private ones from Maria. You're right.
Yeah. I just when you said, "Is there anybody around besides us?" I looked at chat and I saw a 3.
Yeah.
So it was all Maria.
We have private chat. It doesn't alert me to the private chat, even in the studio version on desktop. It looks like Maria was typing some when she.
Yeah, right. She was. Yep.
Yeah. Good to know that. There's a lot of this is. I mean, we talked about this being just a fun thing to do,
right?
But also just a good learning experience to do a live stream. And I've already got like a list of things to do differently next time.
Exactly.
Attention to and good test run and
right.
I was going to say, do you want to try to watch that Visions short, or will it just be easier to do it separately because we weren't sure how that was going to work logistically anyway?
Probably separately because we only have about 10 minutes left or less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say the time doesn't really matter too much, but just I I think we weren't sure how we were going to make that work and not have audio issues.
Right.
But might as well just watch it
I
separately.
think we can work. Maybe we can plan on doing it later.
Yeah, we could certainly do it on our own separately, I would guess.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, we can just hang out for a few more minutes just so we can hit our goal intended plan of 3 hours. Looks like we had at most 3 concurrent viewers, which probably includes all like us and
Right.
Amy. I've got I've got the iPad down here. Who blogs Amy, so, and I think also she's watching. Hi, Amy. We love you.
Hi, Amy.
My awesome wife who brings me coffee and Legos.
Yeah. Haha, we're making you watch Star Wars. But here, listen to Star Wars.
She's used to it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she says, "Show Jack your loot." I'm getting messages now. What loot? I mean, I showed the Lego earlier. I can feature this again. I showed it. She might not be watching, but the Star Destroyer.
Nice.
You can actually turn off my blur.
No, I can't. I mean, I can make it out, but yeah, the glare.
For the audience as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rough, yeah.
Nice. Still pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think I told you, like, I tried to get it on Lego.com when everything went live on May the 1st, and it was the website just completely crashed and everything. And then then by the time, like, I mean, it took like 2 hours before I was finally able to place an order, and then the Star Destroyer was unavailable. And I actually thought it was an exclusive to Lego.com as an anniversary thing, but I found out the next day I won everything else. So she hits Walmart a lot for groceries, more than she would like to. And occasionally
anytime I go to Walmart, I always go to the Lego section, because they do have a really good selection of Legos. I did notice too on Amazon, the Razor Crest is 111.
It's not bad for that.
So it's a little cheaper, not much, but it's something.
It's one of those still way outside my range.
Right, exactly.
Like this is the limit. This is like the stretch, the limit.
Well, you could get the $600 one, or I think it's $600.
Yeah, well, I almost fell back.
The big one. The big one.
almost fell back when I couldn't get this. I almost went back to the AT-AT, the $800 AT-AT, because it was, I think, discounted a little bit. To get
and the Falcon.
But yeah, that's true. Well, whatever you do, do me a favor. Don't tell her that I also bought the Micro Galaxy AT-AT this morning, which is also pretty pricey. Because that's a lot to spend in a day. But it is May the 4th, but still, I mean, that's pushing it. So don't tell her that. But yeah, I
was good. I only spent I spent less than 50 today, so I'm happy.
Well, actually, I kind of want to try something here. I was gonna try this. I just got a message with a bunch of eye rolls. I was messing with this last night after you hit it off, so let me see if I can do this now, because I found out how I can do sharing of stuff, of content. And I want to see how it looks on here. Okay. How does that look for you? Because you're on your phone.
It's fine.
Okay, cool. Because
small, obviously, but I can see it perfectly fine. Yeah.
But this is kind of a cool thing where we can actually look at something and see what we're talking about.
Right.
I didn't know if, because we've been on here, if you've seen any of the new
no, what's that a
including this 2-pack.
Oh,
it is apparently I'm not sure if this one's available yet. It's a GameStop exclusive.
I remember their pops are on sale. Even though they showed a Black Series Commando in that advertisement. That isn't part of the sale. Thanks for getting my hopes up. But no, I need that T-Pack. I need that so desperately.
Definitely.
If anybody, I know nobody is listening, but if you're watching this repeat in the future, Ahsoka and Maul are my two favorite characters. So
yeah, exactly. I was on. Let me see. Sorry, I'm clicking around a lot.
sorry.
I thought I had a window open here somewhere with Yak Face. Actually, maybe that was on my phone. Let me see if I can do anything here without showing messages and stuff. So basically, those vehicles are also the pop rides are out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Several of them that were announced at Celebration, including Luke's Snowspeeder, I think is also available. But the link that everybody had this morning was broken. So here's the rides. At least these three are on Amazon exclusives. So there's another Ahsoka for you.
Is that Hera?
Yeah, Hera also in the next wing, which is cool.
Yeah. I like of the three, I like the Hera the best.
Yeah, it is really cool. The Snowspeeder Luke is one I've been waiting for forever.
Right. But sorry, just go back to that 2-pack because I'm like drooling over it. Is that up for pre-sale? Is it up for pre-sale?
I don't know. That's what I'm not sure.
Okay.
It seems like most stuff people are sharing are up for pre-sale.
Okay. Because I definitely, but when I get off here, I'll go ahead and pre-order that.
If I see a link to it, I'll.
Even though right in front of me alone, I have 3 Ahsokas.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see.
And then behind me, I have I think 4 or 5 more Ahsokas.
Yeah.
I have everyone but like the garage, the mechanic outfit, and the glow in the dark hologram.
Gotcha.
But I know the hologram one, every once in a blue moon will go on her universe.
Mm-hmm. There we go. I'm not seeing it on their website right now. But
I just can't look right now because if I even look, it'll kick me off.
Shut your stream, right?
But I'm sure Yak Face will. Yeah, guys. And again, if you're listening or watch this in the future, definitely check out Yak Face on Instagram.
Yep.
He stays on top of all the really good stuff, all the good sales and stuff, all the merchandise coming up.
It's not the right account. There's also a Facebook group, May the Funko Be With You, that's really on top of. That's actually where I saw the links this morning, and they had a link to all the different listings they said were up, and like half of them didn't work. This is the most exciting part of the show, for sure. But I'm sure nobody else is still on or listening or anything.
Well, it is 4:01, so.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could just hit stop the live stream. We can still chat.
Well, we might as well do a real quick intro or outro.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just in case anybody does watch this.
Yeah. Plus,
if anybody stumbles upon it,
reuse purposes.
Yeah, right.
I guess because it's just so slow. Because I'm sharing right now, I can't even get an autocomplete out of. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, not important. I do want to find the link to that Snowspeeder. But yeah. Really appreciate anyone who has joined us, and hope everybody was able to experience the ceremony. And thanks for anybody who has listened or watched. And
may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. And check out our podcast. We've still got a lot of back episodes from past 2 or 3 years. And check out our site at resilientsquadron.com, where you can find both our articles, news updates, and our podcast episodes all in one place. We're on social media. I suppose I should probably update our description with all this links to all this stuff. And we're on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, don't go there yet.
Resilient Squadron, and Resilient Squad on Twitter. And yeah, appreciate it. All right, take it easy. May the 4th.
See you guys.
See ya.